City Muay Thai Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Instagram and TikTok. So, JD Burns, good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's a real pleasure.
You want to go ahead and introduce yourself to my viewers, please?
I'm JD Burns. I've been fighting career base since like 2010 in MMA, and just recently started bare knuckle combat sports about 5 years now. I've done the bare knuckle in BYB Extreme, and is now known as BKB because they joined companies and they made a really cool super company now. And then they're all boxing based with the clinch rules. And then just recently started going into, I was the first guy in Washington State to compete in bare knuckle MMA. And then January 31st, I'll be fighting first guy to do bare knuckle kickboxing, kind of bring bare knuckle awareness to Washington State, hopefully.
That's fucking badass.
Thank you.
I mean, because I always hear about the bare knuckle boxing, but I don't hear about the bare knuckle MMA or bare knuckle kickboxing. And I feel like it's a natural progression. You know, everybody's doing like the global rules Muay Thai with the fucking he's calling UFC MMA gloves.
Yeah.
Me almost fucked up right there.
I'm a black belt in UFC, homie. It's fine.
It's all right. My buddy's an MMA coach over at the UFC gym. He's one of my students. Shout out to Logan. I give him a hard time.
Yeah, those
He's
guys still make
kid.
me. I'm like, yeah, you exist. Yes.
Yeah. He's a good dude. But yeah, man, so that's actually fucking dope. What can you tell me about the bare knuckle kickboxing? Like, what is that going to be standard kickboxing rules, just bare knuckle?
Pretty much so. It's just depending. We're still kind of looking for an opponent at this point, and then it's just kind of go with what they're comfortable with. Okay. I would just pretty much, if I have my way, it's just regular kickboxing standard, and then just no gloves, just to show people, the difference. It's just switching shifting gears from 100% knockout to more performance and pain and punishment, because it's a lot more painful than it is injury based, and your face turns into the cauliflower ear. It's a lot more cuts, nicks, and your hands are really sore, but it's a lot less shaky brain, and you could still remember your name afterwards. It's just I've had 3 bare knuckle boxing fights in under a year. And the most damage I took was banged up hands to where I couldn't open a water bottle for like a week and a half, and a whole lot of stitches and cuts on my face. But like guys that have day jobs, you can still go back to work the next day. It's like working over a hangover. It sucks, but it's like manageable. It's not a career-ending fight thing. And all it is just guinea pigs showing you guys that all it is getting beat up as opposed to taking horrible injuries. And you could still fight the next couple of weeks after, as soon as you're all healed. And then that's all it is. I feel like one of us takes a little bit of the hit and damage. Everybody else can kind of see and be like, I could do that. It's not so bad. It's doable, kind of thing. Yeah. And then it's just the spark to make the chain reaction. So
yeah. Well, I will say, a lot of what you just described is plenty to turn people off too. You're like, I can't open a water bottle. I'm all cut up. Yeah. And that scares people. We're like, oh, bro.
No, yeah. I totally get it. And especially like the fighter, before I went bare knuckle, like every fighter, whether you're a Muay Thai or we all have gloves on. So your brain does the most logical thing, and it goes into the big fear of the what if.
Right.
You're like, well, we go to the 1% chance, just like everything. What if I get knocked out so bad I $1 million baby myself? Or what if I... and I've had a lot of, I didn't win all my fights. I've had some very bad circumstances in bare knuckle, but literally even the worst fight I've lost, I show people, and I took a week of recovery compared to getting, now bare knuckle kickboxing is probably going to be different, because if I get leg kicked a whole bunch, that's not the bare hands hurting me and I'm going to have to limp, but that was due to the kicks that is in any sport.
Right.
Bare knuckles themselves, it just makes you look a lot cooler because you're bloody for all the pictures. The concussion base, I mean, you have to get hit right on the button because it's a smaller surface area as opposed to your brick hand wrap and then a giant boxing glove that just covers everything. So
the entirety of the face of the glove making contact with this huge portion of your head versus like bink.
Yeah, and again, don't get me wrong. It hurts. It's just switching
Combat
it now.
Sports.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's going from club fighting to knife fighting. And in knife fighting, even if you're in knife defense, they will always tell you you're gonna get cut.
You're gonna get cut.
Yeah, but the knife is not 40 pounds and 100-mile-an-hour hit when it goes at you. It just nicks you up, And then you realize you're getting your forehead nicked up and your cheeks, your ribs are fine, your legs are okay, you're just getting used to the movement, and it's just altering it to, like I said, I can take more pain than my opponent, and I can dish out more punishment kind of thing. Yeah. And if I were to stay in it longer, there might be, chances for more injury, but again, it's a lot more cosmetic based as opposed to, 8 fights. I swing like somebody bet me I couldn't. I throw as hard as I can.
Love it, yeah.
And everybody's like, you're gonna break your hand, you're gonna do this. I've not broken my hand yet. I've hit foreheads, I've hit temples, I've hit elbows and stuff I shouldn't have. And it's just calibrating your punches to bare knuckle as opposed to a boxing glove.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And if you're punching right, even if you hit the wrong surface, you're that much more inclined to be safe. And then with the wrist guards and hand wraps, it makes it, like I said, it's just swollen and uncomfortable as opposed to wearing a cast for, 6 months to a year.
For sure.
Crummy.
Yeah. Those boxers fractures are fucking real too.
Yeah.
Break that bone.
And of course, because it's not legal here, we only able to see like the other companies or the bigger spots. And those are like the 1% athletes that are like the top of their class. So when they're fighting, they're going to inflict way more damage. So the guys that are starting out, they just think, oh, that's just everybody. Everybody's going to be that banged up. And then you realize, oh no, it's, if they're evenly matched, it's a pretty good cancel out, and it just turns into like it was supposed to be. Okay. The sport's not called winning; it's called fighting.
Yeah,
that's what people pay.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what people
sports
pay
not
to
called
see.
Winning.
Yeah, if some
I'm gonna steal that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, use it. I love it. It's like I said, that's what's happening in UFC. I love it to death, and that's what art is. Art isn't wrong; it's just perceived as such. So a lot of the demographic of fans right now are really into the baseball card stats and how many wins and losses and so much, which is, great, but I suck at math. I can't add up squat. I want to do it like a movie scene, like, oh, do you remember when that guy did a Superman kick off the wall? And like, you don't even have to say the name. You just hear the scene and you're like, oh, that was that guy. Or, oh, yeah, that guy. And that's what fighting's supposed to be. Entertainment, it's the competition side's there, but it's just, I hate it. I'm not, I don't, I always feel weird saying it, but like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and stuff like that, that's how they got everybody. They're not the entertaining fighters, they're fight entertainers as well. They understood how to hook people and get them to watch the fight, whatever they said. Just like Muhammad Ali and all them. They just go out and watch. They're like, well, I'm going to buy this pay-per-view just to see him get knocked out. Right. I'm like, but
the showmanship.
Yeah,
level.
I thought you said you hated him, and you're gonna dedicate 4 hours of your day watching him.
To watch him lose.
Yeah,
like,
and as a fighter,
he's winning though.
Yeah, and as a fighter, it's watching it and researching it as opposed to like falling into it and being third person. And then you just see it, and you're like, I see the formula you did. Okay, I'm gonna start doing that and promote fights entertainment base. And then again, neither way's wrong. It's just that preference of art, or the martial art.
For sure. It's funny, actually, to your point, kind of, the baseball card statistic thing. Anyone, like I grew up in the 90s, I'm all about Michael Jordan.
Yeah, okay.
And so I feel like that, look at these statistics. It's like, that is, in my opinion, like the LeBron thing, like really trying to play up the statistics versus the dominance of the sport. They're like, you can watch certain things and be like, oh, Michael Jordan's a fucking movie.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
And I know that the stats are good and help solidify, for like the GOATs, quote unquote. But if you fight for a long enough period of time, you're going to get all these different title belts, and you're going to get all the different type of validation. And it's the title almost seems like 15 minutes of fame until somebody's going to be younger and faster and stronger, and they're going to beat those stats because it's just the evolution of fighting. So instead of selling yourself a lemon and being the best until somebody replaces you, just be that person's favorite band or movie scene forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I say. Steven, he'd kill me if I said that. Stephan Bonner. I'm like, man, you guys like Stephan Bonner's fights? They're like, yeah, man, that Stephan Bonner was awesome. And they were every fight they quote is the Forrest Griffin one.
Right.
And he didn't even win.
Right.
He just fought. That's the whole thing, and everybody was just on that. And that's what it was. It wasn't about the outcome. It was about the purpose in general to do it, and then it made it more, it made more meaning into it at that point.
I mean, it solidified the sport. I don't think that MMA would be what it is right now without that specific fight.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, we all listen to Joe Rogan in combat sports, or most of us, and he talks about it so many times. He's like, there's people fucking calling each other like, you gotta watch this fight right now. And they said the viewership from the first round to the last round was like, phew.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys, it is the same kind of like Bare Knuckle now. A lot of those people, because it wasn't televised ever, so that was their first impression of just MMA fights in general. So to be able to see that and be like,
well, they were striking pretty much the whole time, and I know that a lot of the frustration that comes from the general fans, not the ones that are in the sport. You go by Jitsu Junkie or something, on there, and people don't like to watch jiu-jitsu unless they know it.
No, exactly, and that's kind of also the downfall, I think, is algorithm based, because no matter what, the average fan, if you watch enough UFC, that algorithm is going to constantly feed you anything UFC related or tagline instead of, like we were talking about, the big budget Marvel movies. They're great, but they're not going to take away from the independent Evil Dead movies. And they are in two different brackets. The algorithm will just be like, no, look at Marvel. Don't look at these guys.
Look at the big money.
Yeah, and they are completely different entertainment entities to make it more like, dude, I want to go see that. It's even cheaper over here. I want to go check this out, man. This is good. And that's all it was. They were doing that as opposed to, I'm sure they both wanted to win because it's a contract, but they didn't realize they were selling that sport within that one fight. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Bare Knuckle, because I'm not trying to beat anybody or be like a gatekeeper, but I just want to bring the awareness, because it's not so much the fans, but like we were talking about, it's the local fighters. A lot of them are intelligent and they have day jobs and they're worried about injury and not doing it, or it's just stuff that they can't fall back on. And if I'm able just to at least sell it, that's why I always say I don't guarantee a win or a loss. I just guarantee your ticket money. Come watch me fight. If I don't go to the hospital, we can go drink and hang out afterwards. I always, thank everybody for coming out, and it makes it more, like I said, experience based. Like when you go see your favorite heavy metal band or go to your favorite movie, it's not like, oh, the ending was exactly how I wanted it. It was great. It was just the overall atmosphere. That's what you're selling them, is the experience. And again, it's really hard to do that when you're like, I'm undefeated, I've knocked it in, it's like, cool, I'd date you, I'm sure. But like, it's not it's harder to be able to build imagination from that, or build to be like, anything else. Because then you don't have to sell who you're fighting against. They can just be like, oh, that guy's fighting. Oh, he's fighting, a bear. All right, cool. Let's go watch. It won't matter at that point, because they're invested in the art of that fighter.
Yeah, kind of like you were describing the UFC. It's like that's its own entity. It doesn't always matter who's fighting, especially with it coming out on Paramount next year. Everyone's just gonna be like, click.
Yeah, and it's gonna be this. So anything MMA, this is like I tell people. Like you were saying, I don't watch basketball, and you said LeBron. I know LeBron. That's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't watch basketball anymore.
Any of those guys, I don't know MMA. Do you know Bones Jones or McGregor? And there's like, oh, they make it a staple to make it more, famous base.
Yeah.
To where that's kind of the thing. But as soon as it goes to Paramount, it just does turn into like, oh, it's football, oh, UFC, and it's like, and it's not wrong, but it's not the only thing out there. And and it makes it to where, even if it's not MMA, but the casual fans start going into the independent martial arts and watching more Muay Thai championships or the K1 rules, or just stuff that changes up, because they're all different all different group of fighters in each event. They're all different talent base, and that's the only way art gets better, is you learn from each other in different organizations. So it's it's being the trendsetter as opposed to the follower. So like McGregor shouldering everybody, or when he shouldered the guy in the fight, and then the next 2 weeks everybody's trying shoulders. And
talking about who was that? Cerrone,
yeah. And he just kept doing the Mario jump shoulder.
Yeah.
It's great. That was cool. Original at the time, and then everybody practicing it afterwards is, instead of practicing that, going, oh, that should just open up. You do something now to make it, have people copy off you, and it's like,
always attribute that same kind of thing to the calf kicks and how quickly it's come about. Like within a few years, they're like, this is so effective. And then so many people are like, no, we don't do that. That's disrespectful in Muay Thai. Now you see Thai camps with the big fat calf kick pad made by Fairtex.
Oh,
and
they're the worst.
I fucking hate them, but
and that's
check them now.
That's like, so on the spectrum of the scale, like, I don't even know, I'm not sure if you've ever followed him before or seen him. Have you ever heard of King of the Streets?
Yeah.
So the Poland based. So
yeah.
one of my friends out there, Eric Olson,
Okay.
same thing. He eye gouges people on every one of the fights. And when you watch it, it's like watching the scene from Saving Private Ryan with the knife. You're not cheering. You're just sitting there quiet going,
you're just like, oh
what's
my
gonna
God.
happen? Yeah. And I love that. But he said it was the same thing. Like, anything you're able to do, and there's just that unspoken, you won't go for it, I won't go for it. And then it was the first guy to initiate, you're like, watch this.
Yeah.
Take him down, and then and then
Oh
nobody else
them
is
shits
doing
are brutal though, yeah.
And when nobody else is doing it, now everybody knows the guy is standing out and different. You're like, oh my gosh. Like,
it also shows like that's an option.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know I could do that. Or like
in reality, when you're fighting on concrete and there's no ref and you're worried, I'm like, I'll do the pocket sand like King of the Hill.
Yes, I love that.
I have to do. Yeah,
that's like the greatest.
But that's the same thing. Like, I'm sure they have the top in King of the Streets.
Right.
But people aren't really watching it as like the top. They're just watching what fights can we see. What's going to be the crazy next thing I get to experience.
It's like World Star.
Yeah. But and they're all, they're not bum fights like back in the 90s where where it's not like the guys they found on the corner. These are trained athletes. Choosing to be like, no, I want to fight on concrete.
Different environment. Choosing to step outside of the norm. It's actually funny you say that. I've got 2 points to say. Is the scrapyard stuff, right? So that was something I was really critical in the beginning because I'm like,
until you got there, right?
Well, I mean, I never did it. But
no.
I don't. I do real Muay Thai.
No. But I'm saying like. I was the same thing because we saw it on the very first one before it was here.
Right.
And you watch it, you're like, oh, pool noodles and stuff that you're kind of worried about.
Yeah.
And I know the guy that runs the scrapyard, and I used to cross train with him all. Yeah, I used to cross
he's coming on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh,
Fire Chicken Sunday.
What's up, bud?
7th.
Yeah, but when I would cross train up at Gig Harbor MMA.
Yep.
During MMA fights before Bare Knuckle, he was the guy that would be coming and grappling with us every Saturday and punching face every Saturday. And one of the times he came up and he just was impassive. He's like, dude, I'm doing the street beef thing. I'm like, and we've all watched it. It's just like that's when we first initially saw it. That's our Jerry Springer kind of thing.
That's exactly what I was describing it as.
And now, so when he was like, "Hey man, if you ever want to come down and bring fighters," again, it's very hesitant because you're like, I don't know, it's because it was set up to make it like it's like an anti-gang program. Put down the guns and fight.
And I never knew that. I love that message.
Yeah, and I loved it too. So now that it's kind of evolved and scrapyards around. All their guys has actually had past experience. Everyone in there has either done judging or scoring before in fights and amateur events. Some of them have been reffing. Like it's pretty much in all purposes a really, really souped up smoker base for guys that are beginner because there's no malice because there's no high stakes. So you won't have to worry about a guy going, he's 0-0. He's 50-3. It's his first street beef though. You'll be fine, and you'd be like, yeah. They get it as close as they can possible.
Right, I like that.
And out of any of because when I went down there, they even have a medical tent. Dude, I
was hearing all about it.
Yeah,
like they do a very good. And this is actually what's kind of changed my tone on it. And it's like they do their best version of it in just a different environment.
Yeah, and it was. I was talking about some promotions are for the fans and the crowds, which is great. It's just fighters are going to take a lot of damage for the fans and crowds.
Yeah, to sell it.
And
they're the opposite.
Yep, and some people are for the fighters to make the fans happy. And then Street Beef Scrapyard, so far that I've seen every time I've been down there, they are for the fighters. So especially if the guy loses, this is their before the big crowds or before anything. This is them going, dude, this is what's going to be like. This is, getting the hoot and hollering from people or little heckles here and there. But it gets them used to a camera in their face. Gets them used to a crowd of just the good old boys going, hit him again. And just getting used to honing in on it. And and it so happens because it's their art of it and they're doing something different, people notice it. Just like the Winged Sea or anything else. They're selling their fight entertainers as well as entertaining fighters. They understand. They're like, I know how to see my numbers, and I guarantee a lot of people in the community is not going to agree with how I look or what I do, but they will not stop watching me. And that's where you're like,
Jerry Springer, like you said. It's also like, kind of to your point is, for the ones that don't have like high level experience, I have that very very beginner, almost smoker. Like I did my first smoker at West Coast Fight Team in 2011.
Dude, they're the same thing, dude.
Fought RJ Hoyt.
That's trial by fire, man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we went at it. I mean, he's a lot smaller, but we went at it. And then they're doing a version of that. But I also have the. This is also an avenue because they have so many viewers to become a character before you have like a super solid skill set, but they're working towards it.
And that's the biggest part too, because I tell everybody, amateur, if you just switch that word, an amateur fighter is an intern. You're allowed to mess up as an intern. That's how you figure out what you can do and what you definitely cannot do.
That's a great point.
And doing smokers, that's all it is figuring out what your body's able to take, what you're not able to do. So when somebody's going to pay you money as a professional, you're not gonna be a deer in the headlights.
You're not gonna have that unknown.
Yeah, and especially when you get beat up or knocked out, you got to get up. That was cool, bro. Next week, all right. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate. It's a job but that was the main thing. A lot of people are so focused on the number for like I'm gonna be the undefeated fighter at the wrong time. Amateurs is. You're supposed to be in hot waters, get beat up a little bit, figure out.
You're going to find yourself.
You're supposed to be, you don't have to win an amateur title just to go pro because it's not going to mean anything afterwards. It's just experiencing being dead last and hurry up and waiting the whole night. And hand wraps and just going through autopilot so much that when you go to pro and you're so worried about some of the new rule change, all the same amateur autopilots that you saw in your amateur career, it's the same thing, and it just puts you back in a relax, going, I'm just getting paid now.
It's just another fight,
and that's best way you can do that. Like the smoker events where there's not, it's not trying to make anybody happy or like trying to best another gym out of another. It's
there's no selling point.
Yeah, you guys, here's your platform to work. If you're good, maybe something happen. But if not, we're not going to fire you. We're going to get you working your stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not wrong being undefeated and just learning as you go. But I'm the kid that touched the stove like 3 times to figure out it's hot. I have to get comatose or knocked
myself
out.
In the face with mace.
Yeah,
you could never pepper spray. But
yeah, you could never tell me to check a kick because it's going to hurt. I'd have to get kicked 30 times violently, and
guilty.
And it's there every time. That's why I don't have to yell that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, please don't do that. Oh, can you kick him like 9 more times? Thank you. And then they're like, oh, it's just ingrained. Pick up, pivot.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. And I feel like fighting, and especially to your point, the amateur circuit, even before that, if you're doing smokers, like it's your opportunity to get experience. Yeah. It's your opportunity to go in there and see who you truly are. There's people that'll be like, this is me. Like, this is who I am. That's how I felt. And then there's people out there that are like, man, I don't think I want to do that again. And you see it all in between. And that's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing I used to tell people as well. Like, one of the girl fighters, you'll probably figure it out right afterwards, but she's one of the well-known names and everything. She was awesome, never lost. And if you'd have just had, and then again, it's the art. So some people are only doing this just to prove they are the best in the world, and that mindset got them there. But if they were to lose the fight and they are so depressed, and a couple of UFC fighters have done this before, where they're just like, "Fuck this, dude! I hate myself. I can't believe I lost, and it's horrible."
Yeah.
And then you just casually be like, "How many 100,000 did you make? Not even on sponsorship stuff." And your brain is like that, and that's for all amateurs. Your secret weapon is if you can get used to the fear of pain, and looking like an idiot every once in a while, you will go really far with the sport. That's all it is. They're like, what if I get knocked out? And they're like, well, I get back up and I do it again.
Yeah.
That's what it's fight life. It's not winning life. It's just
I fucking love that saying so much. This is not a winning sport. This is a fighting sport.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see people, and it translates. The guys that are gamblers that really want to win.
Yeah.
It definitely shows because they're more either hesitant or they don't want to make a risk that might make them either look dumb or cost the fight. And if you've ever seen any of my beginning fights, I look like I'm in a mosh pit for the John Candy Band. I just do like 3 or 4 spinning heel kicks in a row, or at least something that I've always wanted to try in the fight that might not get me the fight, but experience it in the fight. To be able to be like, oh, I did a Superman punch, or like, spinning heel, or I've even, one of the jiu-jitsu tournaments, I was able to get a somersault into a triangle choke just because I just felt like trying it, and the guy was a hardcore wrestler and he sprawled super hardcore and he just like
right into it.
Yeah,
I love
and
it.
It was a spur of the moment thing. There's not taught, but the goal is, and I've seen it too, that some of the dumbest things that should not work work because the guy had a little bit of timing and a little bit of confidence to throw it, and if it didn't land, he knew how to keep himself safe, and he's good. That's like the Wiggins C, where he's like hands are down and stuff. I'm sure out of anybody, he knows too, he's got to give his hands up, but that's what makes it his signature thing, where you're like, I'm going to watch now, because now it's like, what if he does get kicked? And you're like, oh.
I'm going to wait for him to get knocked out, and I'm going to watch till it happens. Like,
You
can have those, I don't want to call it a hater thing, but it's like, it's a little bit of a...
It's a fighter version of clickbait, because the average fan now will go and watch it and be like, this guy's running his mouth.
I've even started watching it. Not like a lot, but it's on my feed fucking like crazy, and I'm like, okay. If I see DJ on there, I'm watching it.
Yeah. So, He, same thing, because he was at, I went to the event, I think my 3rd or 4th, when he showed up. And he's actually trained with my dad way back at the Super Mall. So when I started, my dad, my dad was the wrestling coach of my high school, and so was my uncle, and he did Taekwondo, and then that's where I started at traditional Taekwondo at about 11 years old. Okay. And then when he was doing Taekwondo, he was doing MMA up at the Super Mall, and around that time, Mighty Mouse was down there training, Josh Barnett was down there training, like Chris Lieben was even down there a couple, and it was
not surprised.
Yeah, it was just be like, what? But back then, because it's not a
you got to come together.
A mainstream sport, like you wouldn't just be able, like mainstream or influencers now, where they just point them out and they're like, oh, you're so and so.
Yeah.
And so I knew from way back then, I knew he was going to be super hesitant with the street beef stuff. So when I went and talked to him, like, hey man, I told him the same thing. I was like, out of any of the street beefs, this is the only one so far that I've seen run by like. There's actually medical people at hand. There's professionals that actually know legitimate fighting to make sure everybody's safe. And there's somewhat an urgency of safety each time on every one of those. And I've seen some crazy knockouts and wonky stuff on there. But I haven't seen an ambulance have to be called there yet. I haven't seen anybody, I got wood next to me, to be able to break anything. But you see they go as hard as they can. And then they realize, even if they get their ass kicked in front of a live studio audience, they realize they're not injured and they're not made of glass, and then they know what to fix. That's your progress report. I don't learn anything when I win except I look cool, maybe. But like every time somebody has beaten me up, I've learned to thank that guy so much, because the next guy could have done it way worse to me if he would have just.
Well, and he gives you a loss gives you the opportunity to level up, and I always say. True competitors, they don't just take a loss, they mourn it like they lost a person. And like, I'm gonna be like, I have no choice but to go all in and be a different fighter or a different person or like whatever it is. And if you don't have that constant reset of your standard, you're gonna have a very like, oh, I don't really need to change much. I'm gonna do five amateur fights and join the UFC. Like, that's not gonna happen, guys. Like, maybe if there's some crazy phenom, but you see these crazy phenoms and they walk away.
Yeah, and I tell
pussy or something.
It's almost honestly tricking yourself into Stockholm syndrome, because the late great Robert Follis always said, the only difference between nervousness and excitement is what your face is doing, and it's just smiling at the times you're like, oh, and you're almost, and it took my first fight I lost. That's what I did. I'll admit I had so many wins that when I finally lost it, I was so hard on I still remember to this day. I had a guy, I don't even know, it was like a teenage kid, and he just wanted to come up to me and be like, dude, that was the coolest. You threw 2 spinning heel kicks, and I was so down on myself. I still remember it, and I'm horrible. I feel bad about it. I was like, dude, are you stupid? I lost. Like, I was like, that was me trying to hurt me, and I'm like, that's the fan's opinion. I can't give him his own opinion at that point. So it was, and again, you want to get that out of your way at amateur, feeling so bad because you're going to, especially a 30-year period, you're going to have some L's all along the way. So you got to just get used to going, okay, well, that sucked. Did I at least look cool and get a few pictures? Cool, I got some content. All right, left hand up. Don't ever do that again, and then just go to the next one. You can lose. That's what I do. If I'm losing, I just make sure my next fight I don't lose that same exact way. I fix whatever.
Yep.
If I lose another way, well, shit, I got something else to work at that point. It's just, it's you not downing yourself, because even if you have 30 losses in a row, you are still a fighter until you decide I'm done fighting.
Yeah, it's all dedication on your own part. Nobody gets, like you said, like you can't tell your spectator how to have an opinion of you.
Charles Felony Bennett was, dude, so entertaining. He had a very large losing fight streak for a while, and the whole internet went crazy when he won. Yeah. And that's the same thing. How did I know I could eat the berry on the ground when I was a caveman and know that I wasn't gonna die? Because I watched you do it first. So if I could see a guy that has so many trials and tribulations, and his attitude is, nope, we're gonna fix it and go on. Yeah. I have no reason but to do the same thing. I have to persuade, because he's showing us the route that's going to be able to take.
He set the formula.
Yeah, that's the art of it. There's no one route. It's all routes that we can, collectively take. And like, I'm going to use a little bit of this for Muay Thai now.
Right.
That's all it is, and that's how you get, grow as a fighter.
Constant refinement. Yeah. Constantly polishing.
Because it's zero stagnant at that point. Because anytime you get bored, you're like, well, what's jiu-jitsu about? Or it all goes to the same purpose at that point.
Yep. I love that. I'm actually, anytime I'm like doing something that's not mindless TV in the back, it's for sure combat sports. Even like, I follow this series, it's called Muay Thai Land, but it's called Siam Boxing, and they'll just do like a 45-minute clip of just recording the gym in operation. So there's people hitting pads, there's people fucking sparring, there's people just doing sit-ups and jumping rope, but it's like I'll put it, I got the TV right here, I'll fucking set myself up in here, and I'll be like, supposed to be working out right now. I'm like, oh shit. But constantly watching something to grow.
Yeah, and I even tell people too, even going to a seminar and a really famous UFC guy or somebody teaching you something you already knew, it shouldn't be like, man, I paid money for something. He's teaching it a different way.
Right.
To where you can solidify it more. Or even if he taught it the same way, that solidified one of the best people on the planet's teaching me the way I learned. So now I know I got it down at that point. And then it, like I said, it builds to the art of martial art. Yeah,
it's funny you say that. We actually just had a seminar with the Koi Fish Prophet, Matt Ayen. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's Instagram influencer, been doing martial arts since he was like 6 or 12 or something like that. Like your age.
Fight lifer kind of.
Yeah, fight lifer. He's like 31 now, but he did the seminar over at Vital Jiu-Jitsu in Street Sook Muay Thai where I'm at, and like very similar fight style and coaching style, but it's a new perspective. It's a new, like, this is why I do this. And he's shorter, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff. So, and just hearing if it was the exact same message from a different person, sometimes you're going to take that away. Like I talk about Shane Faison. He's like the Muay Thai tips guy or whatever.
Yeah.
When he had his dreadlocks, they did like some sort of fitness thing up here. Like, I don't know if it was Tacoma Dome or where I was at, but he had like a little booth, him and like one other dude, and he's like, you just start pulling your heel to your butt on your knees. He's like, your knees aren't pulling. And I just always have remembered that. And it's always helped me when I drive the knees. And now I pass that on. And it's like, I have Master Sauhin, world champion fucking boxer, champion Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah.
And throwing knees. And it's like, I hear it worded in a certain way from a different guy. And I got it. You know what I mean? And it's not like Master Sauhin doesn't offer a great level of knowledge or anything. I just heard it in a different perspective that stuck.
Exactly. That's especially as a teacher, it's being able to explain the same technique 3 or 4 different ways, layman's terms, fancy, because everybody's different. And then even if you get it on because the best thing is especially somebody's going through the motions and they're doing it perfect, they still don't get it. They're just doing the copy, and then you just see the light click, and they're like, "Oh,
That's
I
the
break
best
his arm
experience as a
this
coach.
way."
Yeah.
Like that's what you want. And all it was just re-explaining why you do it, or use it in a sentence, or use it during live and be like this.
I say it all the time that as a coach, it's my job to be the communicator. And if I need to adjust as a coach, that's my job. It's not my job to be rigid and be like, no, this is how you do it. You're going to learn by me saying it this one way. Like I've got a newer student and she's doing a good job, and I'm trying to get her to stand properly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right. So it was in the middle of class. I'm like, spread your legs, pull one heel back and slide one heel back, set your weight down, bend your knees. And she goes, that is the best way you've explained it to me so far. And it's just like,
and you get the mat, you're like, I'm gonna keep that one. Sweet, I'm gonna get it for 20 more dudes. Like that's.
Well, and some people are like, I'll tell them like, I need an upside down harp, or I need it to be the wishbone with your legs for Muay Thai, so you can check calf kicks, things like that.
I always like
everybody's got one that they learn.
Yeah, and that's where I tell them it's like, in Mortal Kombat, you got like 20 different body styles. I can't teach the lightweights how I'm going to teach that. So then you start figuring out stats and like, ooh, here's for little guys now. Right?
Exactly.
And then it does like Boss Rutan is very big on like sound effects because it's simple. Robert Follis did it a little bit in his, but I started picking it up from those where he does, as dumb as nerdy as it is, movie quotes or really funny nicknames, because I don't know, I'm pretty sure you know this, when you're in a really highly stressful situation such as fighting, your game plan, you're just like, what's my name? Like, and I'm yelling really dumb stuff like, Teddy Shimmy! The guy's like, oh, he gets back into happy and relaxed, and it's the remembering why you're doing this as opposed, because it's not one person, it's everybody. That logical voice in your brain doesn't know that it's fighting for sport, it just knows it's fight like survival. So you're getting all these chemicals, and you have to just, like I said, Stockholm Syndrome, when they're going through this, I got to be smiling the whole time. Like, wasn't that great? You loved it. Say you love it right now. And they're like, I love it.
You're brainwashing yourself. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's it. They do it. It's like military and same thing. And no matter what stressful situation, you just relate it to positive.
Yep.
And especially in MMA, it's so stressful, but I did that to me. I got to keep remembering. I got in line at the roller coaster. That's why it's all my doing. So and then it is, you feel that much better when you even if you lose, you finished and conquered it, and you're like, oh, I'm not made of glass. I'm going to do it again now.
Yeah, exactly. In that growth process, like, you're not going to know that, like, without going through a few, like, you can do a smoke or a couple fights or whatever, but you're probably still not going to know that deeply of, like, who am I? I mean, unless you're having knockdown, drag out fucking brawls for your first couple fights, but like I always say, your first 5 fights or so is like you're kind of learning how you're a fighter, and then you can start applying more techniques and start to figure things out, like how, and the evolution is like fight by fight, and there's so many people that are kind of stuck in their ways. Something that drives me nuts when I'm teaching is when people don't pay attention and have to go back, or like and I'll call them out and be like, you doing okay? You look, did you see a squirrel? Like you said, Or it's like, then I'm like, all right, everybody got it? Any questions? And like, nope. I'm like, all right, 1, 2, boom. And then we go around there like throwing the completely different technique.
Yeah, that way.
I gave you your fucking chance. Like, all you have to do is pay attention. Or when you be like, can I see the technique one more time? Something. I got to go around, and now your partner is suffering because you are. What if your partner is like, this is going to be their life?
I've had to reduce that substitute where I'm like, right, Thomas?
Yes.
Right, cool. Just, like, I don't want to have to do that, but it is. It gets to a point where it's not even there.
I'm glad
sometimes as much, they just get that stagnant where like, I've already learned this, and then they zone out, and it's like.
So like, I can do any technique, and it's like, so I call myself the mechanic, kind of, because I'm like step by step by step. Like every fucking thing. Like I'm a little bit of a, I don't want to say perfectionist, but I want my students to be. I want their technique to be perfect. I know, and there's people that like to be wild and like to play that stuff, and do it to your best of your ability. That's kind of my thing, and it's like, and if it's gonna start with listening.
Yeah, and I've done that too, and my like disciplinary or like strict level, I always say, and it depends on the person, where I'm like, you're getting ready to wanting to do a fight one day, to where now I know I don't have to yell at them. They've already told me I want to fight, so that's my brain going, you are going to get punched and kicked. So anytime they zone out or something, I'll get one of the better guys that I know is not going to kill him, but he's going to just, that thing we just did, he didn't see it. Do it like 9 times to him.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to yell. I just be like, you see, I did that, right? So we're going to move here. But then it's, because again, it's the internship of like, they're going to relate it to negative instead of me cheering for them when they're throwing up. I'm like, you did? Oh, you lost weight. Get up. But like they see that positive, even though it's horribleness is about to happen to them now, where I'm like, all right, if you said you want to fight, right? Okay, just checking. All right, I'm going to have my buddy come in and spar you and we'll, and it's that same like, because it is. Some guys, they just cannot figure out unless they get hurt first. And then I see if that's where they are, like I am, and they stay in, and it's good. And then there's guys that are like, oh, I'm not fighting. I just want like self-defense, or and I'm like, and then I have to, same thing. I have the piece by piece, and then I have to let them know a little bit more tense in my voice of how like you're doing something, because I'm like in real life, and then it's easier. You just show all the guys sparring, you're like, none of this is gonna work right there, and they're like, yeah, because it's just the ultimate truth seeker at that point.
Yeah, that's actually fun because I teach the fundamentals class from my just to make sure they have the actual good foundation, and we go into mid-level techniques. I usually don't go too deep on high-level techniques because they're still learning, but it's great because I also tandem coach the fight team with Crew Jones. So like he and I are the one. He brought me up as a fighter from day one. He's like, you're gonna be a fighter. So I didn't have any of this like, do I, don't I? Do I train as a hobby? Like how to, it's like, you're going to be a fighter, and he had the blueprint. So I just followed it to a T and did everything he could. And I was physically capable at the time. And we try to apply that to our students, and it's a little bit different nowadays with, everything's more mainstream, so people get into it.
Exactly.
But he does a great job. I'll be like last night, for instance, I was teaching the catch the kick for Muay Thai. And then I was like, from here, you have a lot of options, and I was like, all right, one's an elbow to the thigh, one's a knee to the thigh, one's a low kick that'll get the sweep. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have you go knee the thigh, elbow the thigh, low kick like that while you have the kick. It's like just so you're developing your options. And then we moved on to the catch and sweep and pull through. And then Crew Jones was like, can I have a minute to address the class? And I was like, yes. And he did a great job of like, when it comes to fighting, you're not going to throw the knee to the thigh, then the elbow, and then the sweep. And like a lot of promotions have 2-step rule, or like sometimes you have 2-step back. And we're constantly going over like the most common rule sets. And then when you find other, like some sweeps, traditionally in Muay Thai, score huge, especially when they're beautiful, they're disruptive, they're dominant. So 2 of the big 3 Ds. And then you get like other sanctioning bodies, or sweeps don't score shit. And so it's like, if your whole game plan is like really being a counter striker and sweeping people a lot, you're gonna have to completely get away from that game plan. So being a well-rounded fighter, having a high-level coach to kind of bring that back, and I do the same thing. I'm like, this is not something like again, I talked about the Koi Fish Profit seminar. It's my boy Matt. I love that guy. Yeah. But he teaches the catch and then the push back down of the leg. That is not something I teach. And I don't want to put both hands down. I know you got to kind of push up. My hands are down, I'm going to get hit. Otherwise, like, I have to position. So going through each step of this mechanically, teaching them that, and then being like, I don't teach this for fighters. This is an option. What if this happens to you in a fight? So you're going to need to understand this, even if it's not something I'm going to have you do consistently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And especially that, too. I told our guys, even if they're not Muay Thai or they're not wanting to be they're like, I want to do total MMA. Or I'm like, cool, we're only going to do boxing. So especially because you're going to fight a boxer, you're at least going to know, and just a boxing specialist compared to an MMA guy, but you'll see, and then you don't have to rematch the same guy in order to prove you got better. You're like, oh, a wrestler beat me, I'm going to go fight another really good wrestler now. Or like, it's just easier to sync up at that point. Like boxing, one of my boxing coaches told me back in the day, he was like, if you got beat by a guy, there's only so many angles. You almost have to beat that guy again, like a rematch, to prove you've gotten better, as opposed to like
very matched skill set versus having like a worldwide fucking view of like all these martial arts that you can do. And you can be a specialist in one avenue and have a decently rounded game in the other side and be just fine. But somebody like a wrestler versus boxer, and in my opinion, when it comes to MMA, that paired with jiu-jitsu is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
You know, obviously striking and knees and elbows are important, but they're if you look at Muay Thai is very specific. And with the rule set and the gambling culture in Muay Thai in the beginning, like punches were not scored.
Yeah,
so what do? They don't train to defend punches as well. There's this big thing on MMA versus boxing versus Muay Thai. Like who would win? I'm like, it's going to depend on the people. It's not going to be like, you have these weapons, I only have these 2 weapons. I'm like, well, if that person's traditional and they have their hands wide and they're ready to catch a kick, and you fucking get blasted with a cross and you get dropped.
Yeah, and that was the big thing, was the not even a total rule but the slight change in variations where it's having to force you to adapt, and then it makes your game grow as much, because if I'm the overhand right guy and they're not giving me any points, where I'm like, son of
you gotta find something.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta adapt every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
So I'll just get, especially in good shape, super long-winded sentences, and I'm like, man, I didn't smoke pot. Why do I have cotton mouth? I'm like, oh yeah, talking.
Dude, that's why I always do the water. I'll be like, yo guys, we gotta stop this because I gotta go get a water.
Yeah, I'm parched.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, I do smoke weed and fucking cotton mouth, but at the same time, there's times when I'm not. Like, it's kind of funny because maybe I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna, is like, I'm a proficient user. You know, I use cannabis I feel like I get something out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like, I just watched talk about him all the time. He's my favorite fighter, Demetrius Johnson. He just did a thing. He's like, I just recently started smoking weed, and it's like a superpower. And he's like, at the end, he's like, my coach just said it's because I got good rest. And he's like, you know, like, and so I know what it does for me positively, and I know what it does for me in the negative side. So like sometimes I'll teach and I'll be like, oh man, I'm still kind of high, and I'll be like joking around and
like
stuff.
Gilbert
and
Godfrey with
that.
eyes.
And sometimes I'm so dialed because of that, and sometimes I'm so far gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the rest of the day. Like specifically, try to eat a pretty clean diet, but when I'm not, I get such bad brain fog. And it's like, you don't really notice that if people kind of dabble in between or like have not the best diet.
Yeah.
Like their brain's always foggy, so what's new? You go to that like fully clean diet and then switch back and you're like, oh bro, I can't even operate.
That's exactly what I tell all my guys. They're like, what do I do after my fight? I'm like, I want you to eat the shittiest stuff you know. I want you to eat McDonald's.
Yep.
But as intel, I want you to remember how you feel.
That's great.
Just like giving yourself a hangover, because then I don't have to tell you. Your brain will start subconsciously after fight number 6 going, I just need 1 McGangbang. I don't need 6 and a 20 piece. Like you're like, and that's what it's done over time with me. Like my bare knuckle fights, I've not had any trouble cutting the weight. And then when I go to my 2 weeks of cake and whiskey for breakfast kind of thing, like I can't even do that anymore like I used to. I'll have a burger and I'm like, I'm bloated. My tummy hurts. Like
we're also a little older than we first started. I'm not sure what your age is, but I'm 40. I'm about to turn 41.
Yeah, 34.
34. But still, like when you're 25, it's like it didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's the big thing too. I literally have an energy drink. You can go to sparring. You can do whatever. You can burn off McDonald's when I was 20. But in our brain, we didn't even realize it until you were at the point of no return. You're like, oh, I could have been way more of an animal if I'd have just done this. But it's all it is, depending on the stuff. Same thing like the greens is always, as long as that person's disciplined, just like dieting, is the same thing. Because then it's that guy is able to go, all right, I'll go from here, and then. But I think that's even harder is like the food aspect. So if you're able to maintain food, that when it translates over to anything else, you're like, I'm good. Like I had no choice. I was a bit of the poverty child as a while, and so when you do that and you do that register where you're like, oh, I can actually, I get grumpy, but I can do without a few McDonald's. You start realizing, like, oh, okay, I'm eating because I'm bored, or I just like the taste. I'm not using it as the gas or fuel that I need.
Food is fuel, especially for fighters. Like it's one of my best, cleanest food regimen basically is a lot of eggs, a lot of sweet potatoes, a lot of ground beef, like cleaner ground beef, and or like grass fed, chicken, things like that. But I don't go beyond like a very few specific things, and my body just dials right in, like knows exactly what to do with it.
Yeah, and that's explaining to people too. It's like you're eating for the performance, and they're like, I want my cake, but like
they need the dopamine instead of the performance.
Yeah, it gets it's exactly that. It's a formula, and mine's not far off because I do the grounded turkey. I go through like 2 cartons of eggs a week each time, because that's just like it's your safety protein. Anytime I'm like, oh, what do I want for breakfast? Eggs. What do I want for lunch?
It's the most complete food that you can get. It's the highest in all the vitamins and stuff like that. A lot of people hate on eggs. Like, it's probably other parts of your diet contributing to whatever the eggs are. But like eating greens, like, or having a greens supplement. 'Cause I take AG1, even though it's so fucking expensive. Yeah. And I hate the taste of it.
Yeah, and
but I suck it up.
It is. It's the switching, because that's what it took me when I was a kid. Because it's like like I said, it's going through drug withdrawals, and your brain's like, because you're like, you're not eating cake.
Yeah.
If somebody would have just said you're not eating cake for just a few months, get used to it, because your brain's like, you're not going to eat it forever. Oh no.
Well, you can't do that to yourself.
Yeah. So your brain, so it's, so many fights when you start registering, you're like that disciplinary, like even when you get those hard cravings, your brain now, you're like, I know, I got one more day, and then I'm so hungry that my defense mechanism, my growling will just shut off, and I'm just, food makes me sick, and I'm like, oh, but it's only way we do that was the first 2 or 3 times, and then just like cutting weight. First time's the hardest, and then once you have that formula, you're like, oh, what, you're 40 pounds overweight? Just give me 2 weeks, I'll be fine, or whatever.
Yeah, well, fuck, that's a lot still, but I was never able to cut that much weight in a couple of weeks.
My record is 9 pounds in an hour and a half, and I did like the Taekwondo sparring. I had a dive suit on, and I was a special kind of stupid, because this was at amateur level, and I didn't even have a fight. I just wanted to see if I could do it, so when I went pro, and somebody offered me a bunch of money, I can cut weight quick. If that was the worst sparring I looked like Ralphie's brother from Christmas Story. I couldn't put my arms up or down because it was such a tight dive suit.
You were in the actual dive suit, not the cutting weight suit.
No, I found a dive suit at Goodwill because special, and I shop at Goodwill forever. Yeah, and if you guys ever see my like live feeds, I'll do, and that's the big thing. I don't restrict my water when I'm doing this. So it's kind of like priming the pump when you're sitting in the sauna and you're drinking water. I will guzzle water, but I will spar with like 4 layers of sweatshirts on, sweatpants on, and I have that chest pad and headgear, and all my heat is just
trapped.
And then we have about 2 hours of sparring where there's no win or lose. You just keep going. So your brain is like, I can't knock them out. I can't knock the wind out of them, so I just gotta like jogging the mile, not sprinting. So then you're just going and getting used to like sitting in the sauna, and then it's great like mental discipline and building. But as soon as I went pro and started thinking of that, I'm like, dude, I didn't even get paid for that stupid. What am I doing? Like looking in hindsight, you're like, that was.
But you're not going to know that without going pro. And there's a lot of, or hitting that level and having that experience. So to your point, any of my students listening, just remember, there's a time and a place for doing all these things. We have the formulas. If you need it for yourself to understand this, like, then maybe go through it. But talk to your coaches. Find that way to go about it, because this shit's been done before.
Yeah, like, and that's like it's combat sports. It's always worded and phrased as it's a one-on-one sport, and it's true when you're in there. But the 3 months before that is all the teamwork and communicating. Village. Yeah, that literally helped you. All the guys that knocked you unconscious almost every sparring match to be like, oh, they will, because those guys aren't my teammates. They're going to do that on purpose to me. Yeah. So then it's like,
train hard and fight easy.
Yeah, exactly. So like that is the big thing, is communication, because it's, again, you're like, don't do that. Why? Well, I did that and I fell out of the ring unconscious. And you're like, oh, I'll take his word for it. Cool. And you kind of just move.
Well, some people will learn from that, and some people will be like, I'm not the same. Yeah, and they have to learn their way too.
Yeah, and it's especially as a teacher, knowing those people exist, and it's almost like trying to explain. You can't win a habitual liar, so you just agree. You're like, okay, yeah. So the guys that it's Robert Follis talked about this too. He had 2 guys sparring. One guy was a pro. One guy was getting ready to go pro. Pro was beating the brakes off him every single round for 5 rounds. That 4th or the 5th round, he came out. That amateur got a 3-piece with an uppercut, and they all landed. And he was like, "Oh, it just pissed the pro off," and the pro beat him up horribly. And Robert was watching this, and he's like, "Oh man!" So he's trying to think of what he's going to say to his student and try to get him like, it'll get better one day.
Trying to bring him back up.
Yeah. And he came over, and before he could say anything, he's like, Coach, you see that? I hit him 3 times. And he's like, and then he said right after that, he's like, if I had another round, I think I could have beat him. And he's like, what am I going to tell that guy? No, you couldn't. He's like, that guy had it. We just need to hone it in because that's the thing. You're going to lose. It's the mindset to be able to push through that and be able to.
The mindset.
Yeah. And that's because then your horrible CTE nightmare or when you get knocked out might not be the other guy. The other guy is just like Price is Right. He's just happy to be there, Bob. So you're like, so then you don't want to instill your own narrative on that guy. You want him to make him aware. You might get knocked out or you might, stuff. But I was like this. I'm like, you're not going to the hospital, dude. You look silly, but it's like a family barbecue with soccer boppers. You're all right, bro. You'll be, it's
exactly. Kind of what I wanted to say about that exact thing is I always say where the mind goes, the body will follow.
Yeah.
So if you're mentally prepared, your body is going to be prepared because it's just going to do what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
The other side of that is like when we're cornering a fighter or whatever and they're getting the back, getting ready. I see that the nerves are coming on. There's a couple things that I go through is during fight camp, I'm like, now's the time to be prepared so that when you're in there, you don't have that feeling of nerves.
Yeah.
When we're in the back and I'm about to hold pads and I see that they're nervous, I do extra prep work. I get them out of their head and onto the pads.
Focusing on focal points. It makes it,
exactly.
Because it's just keeping them busy instead of hurry up and wait especially at that, and you're like 6 down the line and it's like being on the roller coaster line and all you can hear is people go, knockout, and your brain is like,
and you're looking, no shit, I'm up next, I'm coming up.
Yeah, and it really was. It was. At least for some of my fighters that I've go to, because I do this at least with my last 4 fights now, and like everybody's different, but it's the mean what you say what you mean.
Yep.
And every fight I do, because I always say I'm a man and I'm an adult. We don't get holidays anymore. That's for our kiddos, everything.
Birthdays,
This fight night is my Sweet 16. That's my birthday. That's my quinceañera. That's everything. And and it's the only guy that is able to convince is yourself to be. So each time I have my coaches come up to me and they're just like, "Hey bud, what day is it today?" And every time with conviction, this is the greatest day of my life.
I love it.
If I died tomorrow, this was it. This is what I'm doing. And then about 3 or 4 times conviction wise, it's like Diego Sanchez just doing cartwheels out there. Your brain is like, I might not win, but I'm going through 3 brick walls before I stop. And it's like the ending from Scarface. It's like, I'm going to take like 3 of you with me. This will be fine.
As many as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that because once you get to that stage and you're not afraid of the losing for whatever reason, a lot of people are like you went are afraid to get hurt, afraid to go to the hospital. Because I'm like, I'll be teaching class. I'm like, it's not that I want to put this in their brain, but I'm like, it's a very real possibility that you could wake up in an ambulance. Yeah. Very real possibility, right? Yeah. Taking you to the hospital instead of going home because of perhaps their lack of study, lack of training at the time. You talk about the students that are kind of not playing around. There's one guy, I give him a hard time, really crazy athletic. He could be probably like he could take the sport by storm if he really did it, if he really decided. Tall, skinny, long, fast. I have trouble with him, and I've been doing this for fucking almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's been doing this for like a year and a half. But he's like, he likes to spin too much. So we get him in the clinch, and he spins and accidentally knee him in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, dude, knee me in the spine. I'm like, I would never intentionally knee anybody in the spine. But if you're going to spin and throw your back into a strike, it's not necessarily, and I felt bad. I was like, hey, I apologize. But also kind of like, not, Jagger, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. But I'm like, don't be a pussy. I'm like, don't be like, I threw my back into it and he kneed me in the spine. And I'm not saying he was.
No, yeah. But now it's initiation to where he hears it to where it's not injury. It's just, that was good. Charlie, you son of a Charlie horse. And then it's, because it's reacting off of coaches. Yeah. It's just like parents. Your kid's not going to freak out unless you're like, oh my God. So if you're
freaking out, they're going to freak out. Yeah.
every one of them are like, did I do something? Like, that's the same thing. If they don't see coach freak out, you should be good. Especially when they get dropped and it's a really bad, like, liver shot, or you're hearing them doing noises. It's that post-traumatic, Stockholm syndrome. We go up, we're high-five, we're like, dude, welcome to the gang, we're good. If one of our guys goes and throws up in the bathroom or outside, we all wait right out there, so when they come out, we're like, because it's like, dude, you just lost 3 pounds, you didn't even try.
Over the top support, no matter what's happening.
Exactly, but and it is, your brain will translate it to like, oh, I'm just with my comrades, I'm with my battle buddies, and that's where you want to be, as opposed to like the movie Kick-Ass with Jim Carrey. He's like, number one rule, have fun, because otherwise, what's the point? And if you're not getting paid and you're doing this as an amateur, you're doing this because it's something you want to either achieve, or it's your, like, my mental therapy. It's not for my physical therapy. I get beat up horribly, but every day, my fight life problems mute my real world problems. Like, there's comedians that said that. He's like, I get into a stage where, like, right after a fight, even if I lost, they'd be like, hey, dude, your car's on fire. And I'm like, well, that's what happens to my car. My car's a jerk. I don't care. Like, it's just like, it just puts everything to a better perspective of like, oh, it could be way worse. I feel great. I can have a McDonald's burger again. What? And you just, and it makes
always reframing your mind.
Yeah,
where your mind goes, your body will follow. Like, I'm a firm believer of that, because I grew up as the fat kid. I tell it all the time on my podcast. Getting made fun of out here in Spanaway and stuff. Like, you talked about shopping at Goodwill. I remember I got a jersey at one point I was really happy about. I'm like, ooh, it was like a Grant Hill jersey. I wear it to school, and it's like one of the older kids' jerseys that got donated, and I was getting made fun of like crazy. I never wore that jersey again. I've got a weird thing about jerseys. I like them, but I don't wear them very often. And yes, that's a thing with me, but it got to the point where, like, I'm still here. Like, if that dude said anything today, I'm going to say, oh, fuck him up, but I have the capability.
Yeah. It's like, I can crush in that 4-year-old. You're like, I'm just going to look like the bad guy because I know, and it really is the that mindset, if anything else. It's just really because that's what we do with our guys too. And once you start, because it's knowing yourself and what you're capable of, and then just people bad mouthing you in the bar, you feel almost embarrassed. You're like, I don't want to beat up this potbelly pig in front of. I can't look cool doing this.
You're eating a loss. You know that, like, this person is winning because they are talking shit.
Yeah.
Their weapon is their mouth.
Yeah.
And not you. Like, they're coming with two different weapons. You are a physical weapon. Their mouth is their weapon. And you could rip them apart, and they're still gonna fucking be like, whoa.
And that's especially for fighters too, because I was bitch tits and fat ass for many years. It was so much fun, and I was the fat kid that would wear the flame shirts with the dice on them. Like, this will hide my rolls of shame, and it does not. But like,
I was Jelly Roll, Fat Boy, all that shit. Yeah.
It was hearing it so much and so often. Like, my dad would even, like, me and my dad would roast each other all the time, but it was getting it to where, believe it or not, like, a lot of the time, that's fighting. I got into fighting because of all the bullying half the time. I was like, well, I might, I'm only gonna be called bitch tits so often, and something's gonna happen. And that's what it was. It was, I was still fat and out of shape, but my dad fought in the Super Mall fights, and it was amateur pride rules at the time.
Oh shit!
So they televised it, and it was on Comcast cable at the time, and I wasn't a specimen, but I was a really good liar. And I'm like, that's my dad. I do all that stuff he does, the same. And they were just like, dude, Tubby could kick our ass. We didn't even know this whole time. And then I saw the switch of people, not even having to prove, but just seeing that was like, all right, this is, even if I don't do it as a profession, because I never thought it was, I was just like, this is gonna, like the Joe Rogan. He might not be a fighter, but he's gonna beat any comedian heckling him in his profession at that point. He's like, it's like, go ahead, say something. I'm fine. I'm like, all right, good. And I tell people, especially because, at least for people that get bullied, we at least deal with it earlier. So we were like, well, I'm gonna memorize a good little quip or a good little bit. If you are gonna be on the big stage, you're gonna get fighters that are, especially the socially, the offbeat guys. They're not gonna have good quips. They're gonna literally sound like high school guys.
Yeah, and sound stupid.
Yeah, and I've done it every time. I've even told people, if you spit in my face, I will not react how you want. I'll make us both look stupid because I'm gonna ask for your Facebook. I'm gonna be like, can we be buddies after the fight? Like and it's hard to
I'll fuck with them and be like, yeah, do it again.
Yeah, no, I won't even do that anymore.
But...
Yeah, dude, because I've had a few guys before where like I'm getting ready and I've already seen how they've compose themselves to other people, and their mentality is I want to win.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if you're intimidated, but I'm going to tell you what I think of you to your face. And I'm like, well, I don't have a choice, so you don't have a choice with me either. So then instead of, because no, fuck you, no, fuck, that's, everything is the same. What's going to stand out is you being different. So you being the Starbucks girl being like, dude, I saw your last fight. Man, if you get me just something where they can't play off of.
Yeah.
And comedy is the biggest, that's what took me too, was figuring out how to disarm people, even roasting myself. And like, it went to like, it's dumb. It's like the Eminem movie where he's doing it at the end. But you see people are like, I was gonna call you that. Dude, that's not, I'm like, I want to say the funny thing first then. I'll get it. Like,
well, it's also like, they're gonna try to get you and it's like, I already got you. So I feel like that does develop a level of camaraderie because it's like, hey man, I'm kind of a joke. Like if you're gonna look at yourself any other kind of way, like I know it's false.
It's the biggest thing is what if. It's always what if. But if you know a certain scenario is gonna happen, and you have time to like practice and rehearse stuff, it's only the what if. If you already know, there's nothing. Like if I went to go a couple times, and when I fought in London. I knew they weren't the biggest fans of Americans, so I knew I was going to get like the smattering of applause. So I leaned into it because no matter how good a guy you are, if you're fighting in a other state, you are not hometown hero.
Right.
They will. You are outsider. So instead of being like this, like I'm going to show them I'm good. Like Eric Olson showed me, man, lean into the villain. You don't even have to be villainistic, and they're giving you this role like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So I wore. Of course, the one I get knocked out horribly. I wore red, white, and blue Rex Kwon Do pants.
I was just thinking that.
I'm walking out, big smile, just a big chest spread out. I'm like, hey, everybody. And I got the smattering applause, and he's hometown hero. So, like, he got the, like, everybody were holding hands, like, yeah. And that's the thing. When I got knocked out, it got so loud. And I'm pretty sure the Rex Kwon Do pants had something to do with it. And I was like, but even my opponent, after he knocked me out, he even turned to the crowd. He was like, stop, will you just stop? He's like, dude, he's already dead, what are you doing? And it was like, but my brain, I got up and I was like, none of you fuckers are gonna like me anyway. There was not of like,
worried about that.
I'm able to disassociate and be like, here's my paid gig, I'm gonna make it, and especially if you get booed for knocking somebody out, that's probably their mom and dad booing you. And I'll do the Hulkamania. I'm like, that wasn't for a bad performance. Like, it's just, understanding will not you're gonna get booed at some points, and it's not your fault, it's just because who you are. And then it's like
who you are and where you're at and all that. Like, I think the hometown thing always wins. That's why I named my shit Sway City Muay Thai, for being from Spanaway. Like, I mean, I got a tattoo right here that says Sway Side. I mean, I'm getting made fun of for it, but before anybody was calling it that.
Oh yeah, dude.
But then, like, I've always got something to represent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing is cool. It's the thing or the person that makes it cool. So I've seen some dumb tattoos that are I love them just because that dude that had them rocked them, and he wasn't like, oh, this was 17-year-old mistake. He was like, you want to see this dumb thing I did? Like, he was like, it's no regrets.
No regrets.
Or no regrets. I should do that.
No regrets. Actually, that's when I rocked the hat sideways with the long hair. So everyone was just like, they're like, no regrets. I'm like, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But I rocked the hat sideways because that's just me.
Yeah, I'm like, I listen to a lot of Limp Bizkit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Did Limp Bizkit rock his hat sideways?
No, he had the no snapback or anything.
Oh yeah,
it
fitted. That's me. That's me all day. Fitted hats. I was getting made fun of it for it the other day, and then I looked it up and I'm like, are fitted hats like out of style? And they're like, nope, fitted hats are always. I was like, whatever. But also, absolute chaos. Brian Jones Jr.'s old fucking thing. So it's always two layers. Like if I'm wearing something, it's something I represent.
Yeah,
Sway City Muay Thai.
It's it's especially thing. And that's another thing for the amateur guys too, or people that are like trouble of like landing sponsorships or anything of that matter. It's a lot of it is. There's no one formula. Every sponsor wants something a bit different, whether it's advertisement or I've had people that are just like, I just want to be able to show my existing crew of guys that I'm hip and privy to fighting, or they just want to be able to have a conversation starter. And I think it was my dad that told me that it was like one of the number one thing like pro sponsors want in a fight. What do you think it'd be?
Publicity?
Actually, yeah, you're the first one that got it. More people like knockouts, or it was like, no, they want airtime.
Yeah, they
even
want
if
everybody
it's
to
a
see their
5-round
shit, yeah.
boring war of a fight, there is like 100 still shots with that logo, and they're just subliminally like. And then you start figuring out it's like, it's like, again, it goes to the baseball card stats and stuff. Like, even if it's good, they're not looking for baseball card stats. They're looking for the guy. They're like, can you juggle? All right, let's do a backflip. All right, you can be one of our guys. Like,
I like that.
Yeah, it's the. Like I said, it's the Wolf of Wall Street selling the pen. You're the pen.
Create the demand.
And just figure out what that person, and it's the same thing too. So and being different's a big thing. So like, unfortunately, like, even though Hayabusa and Fairtex, those are the dream sponsors, everybody and their mother right now as a fighter is looking and messaging them, and I'm sure they go through thousands of those. So be different, go through other, that's what's going to help build to get enough social media base to actually like have the other companies be like, he's got how many thousands of time? All right. It's like, that's all it is. They're looking, some of them are looking for numbers, others are looking for, engagements and how often. And and that's the big thing. You can't have the same formula. It's do a research on that, see, kind of guess what they might like, and then offer that up in the sponsor me letter. Or, I'm from such and such from this long, and I'm able to have this platform with this many views and stuff like that. And
it's funny you say that, because I'm in the middle of dialing up the rest of the sponsorships for the podcast. Doing that exact thing. It's like presenting a package that is something that they may be looking for, or the other side is understanding, like you said, the Fairtex or Hayabusa or even like Yokao and stuff like that. Huge ones, but they don't really sponsor a ton of people. Big names.
It's
the
big
ones that
names,
they know
or
they're going to get a return.
Or like a unique, different that they know it's going to stand out. So I even did it like, because again, it's art. So you go from other artists from other things like Tony Hawk and skateboarding. They did sponsor me videos. I would do DVDs of highlights. I'd make my own DVD cases, and I would give them to sponsors with my sponsors that I already had business cards in there to show them that this is what I do. I'm a full timer. I'm not some weekend warrior.
Legitimate.
Yeah, and the ones that see it, they see how much work and time you're putting into it, and they know you're not like, give me free gloves, bro. It's free gloves means you're gonna at least do 3 or 4 videos or training with them, or like sponsored by Carl's Jr. So it's like, it's the
brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Yeah, fuck you, I'm eating.
What does he say? Why do you keep saying that?
I get paid.
Because they fucking pay me every time I do. You're so smart. Why didn't you know that?
And it goes to and that's the thing, the art of it, because now it's not a formula. It's how am I going to make people look at this? And luckily, entertainers are people that are like, it'd be funny to do this, or it'd be cool to know people do this. And like, it makes it to where now you don't have to go anything. You can do your own route, and you can get just as many people because they see your individuality or signature on that.
So weird switching from being a Muay Thai coach to content creator.
I did. Instagram. I felt like, very, dude. I did not feel like an OnlyFans model when I said that. I was like, I feel way too old saying that to myself, but it really is like having to make the switch, and it's not even like the title, it's just the mindset of it. Because your brain is just, because it's so wired for red, you got to switch it to green now, or blue, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, and that's a good reminder that there's other colors on the spectrum. And actually, it's kind of what got me into, like, once I stopped fighting, it's like, or even right before that, it's like I had to realize there was life outside of fighting, and like I had to pay bills still. Like I wasn't having the sponsorships. I didn't go pro. Like, so there's no money coming in. Operating in the red and being so dedicated to it, it's like now I'm like, okay, switching to operating in the green, you know? And it's really weird because there's times where I have to run my other businesses and stuff to make ends meet, because certain things don't pay. But if it draws me away from being at the gym where I can coach, I've had to become more comfortable with that. Like, hey, like, it's not my night to coach. I do need to be there as often as possible, but obviously, like, you have to pay the bills.
No,
if you don't have a house to fucking live in, the gym ain't
just like
shit for you.
it's that mindset at amateur, because everybody is so focused on, and both of them are extremely important. It's that I need to have my skills or trait as one I want, and then some people are phenomenal Olympic style, but they spent so much time building it, they didn't know how to sell that product afterwards, or be able to be like, oh, I'm gonna, and it's almost at amateur level. That's what you're like trying to be like, oh yeah, you do this, or because amateurs obviously can't get paid, but they can get reimbursed half the time, or at least some of the time with stuff. And then that's where I told a lot of my students, I'm like, dude, it's like asking a lady out. 10 no's make that one yes really meaningful. You're gonna love it, like, and it's just trial and error and repeat. But then it's where you're like, I always say it's like sinking the boat or whatever, because I had no other means of making money, and that's that thing where I would take fights I would never take in a million years because it was a health and hazard, but it was like, all right, I have to figure out, and then going back and playing that, going, if I don't want one of those again, I need to figure out or how to like resell it and at least get to platforms of even just, especially that was the thing, was local. It was figuring out a local demographic of people that are just like, yeah, man, I'll go see your fights. Cause even my best homies love me to death. They'll be with me in knockouts, and but it's adulting, bro. You're like, how much your ticket? $70? And you're like, dude, you got a video, right? I'll see it afterwards. Thanks, homie. Like, and then and always ticket prices is the thing too, but it is figuring out, because that turns us into we're fighting, but if we're doing it like the whole time, I'm like, all right, how am I going to be that ticket salesman guy? How am I going to be
how am I going to be the entertainer that people want to come see?
Yeah. And that was the hardest part, because Facebook and Instagram just turns us into crack-addled praying mantises all the time, and you're just and then it was having to physically go, I got to go on this more, and I have to post, and it was like, it was.
Oh, bro, you're hitting me right now, because that's what I have to do, and I'm like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah,
so it'll be like a whole day. I'm like, I'm not doing it today.
No, exactly. And it's stuff that you're like, it's perfect content, but it's that tedious to make sure nothing gets blocked or like shadow ban. And
I did a 45-minute edit on a fucking 1-minute show this morning of me interviewing my fighter. I think you saw it. But like my buddy Nate, he's fighting, and I'm like, it took like an hour for me to fucking edit and get it right, and then distribute it amongst platforms.
Oh yeah.
It was an hour I could have been working out, could have been making money on this. You know what I mean? And it's all in that gamble. That was the big gamble where you're like, going to come back.
Yeah, and that was my thing too. Was like whatever, either media I made and one of my more recent bands, John Candy, awesome sponsors.
I keep looking at that. It's fucking dope.
They were, and that was when I was like, I had another sponsor at the time, another amazing heavy metal band. Both of them I recommend punching your bud to the face during sparring. But that was when I went pro, I asked Winds of Plague, and that was like my first, like in my mind, official, like this wasn't a local sponsor, this wasn't a mom and pop shop, this was somebody that was already established, and how I conduct myself, and depending on what their answer is how I'm gonna have to do for like, and I even told them, I'm like, dude, I'm not here to make a whole bunch of money, I'm just here to cash happy checks, I love heavy metal, and I'm like, just give me your, leniency to let me use your music without copyright strikes, and I'll tell the whole world about Winds of Plague. And they were like, yeah, man, and they understood that, because it wasn't like there was no price, it was haggling, and for two people to be able to be creative about it and then build off of that. So then it was a lot of the heavy metal community that wasn't in a lot of the fight base where it's like, check this out, and it's something that goes hand in hand.
That's badass.
And then John Candy, I can't say enough good stuff about them. They are absolutely awesome. But the singer came down my first local fight back, I believe from California. And all of them, I don't expect any. I just give them the content they want. And I felt like not a Build-A-Bear, what is it? Make-A-Wish Foundation kid, because he's got a call, and he's like, hey man, do you have I was thinking about flying down there and watching the fights, and and that was like Dana White to me, because I'm a heavy metal nerd. Like that's
dope.
I'll talk to pro fighters and UFC guys, and it's work related, so I don't get that like, but like the heavy metal, I turn into a goofy schoolgirl nerd. I'm like,
because you get to fanboy about fucking something else that isn't your job.
Yeah, and you're trying, and that's the only time I feel that third person, like, don't look like a tool.
I love that.
Look at him for 5, 4, 3, But them, same thing. When I talked to all of them, they were like, no, we're pretty privy to the old school UFC and back in the day, and they were same thing. They worded, I like the entertainment aspect. They loved how the fight, and I'm like, dude, let's make some magic. You know, help me with you know, if I could be sponsored by you guys, maybe some free merch so I can show your name and spread your, because either California and get more people through Pacific Northwest would be kind of thing. But they are like, it was cool. And again, heavy metal, even my coaches told me back in the day, they're like boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, anything where you're hitting another human being. It was usually like heavy metal, speed metal. That it was always this like rhythmic thing. And then our jiu-jitsu classes was rap, reggae. It was just nice, easy flow, and you're just kind of getting into
see that because of our jiu side.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get into, instead of, especially in jiu-jitsu, where you're just supposed to be like, this is a 10-minute round, dude. Just go.
Well, and it helps to be flowy, I think. It's funny though, because like the jits side is the one that controls the speaker for us.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Bladen, it'd be there, and he'd be like bumping like James Brown or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, like the big payback, and I'm like, oh yeah. So, but then you know, there's a couple songs that come on, and we're like, if you're not ready to fight hard, like go fight somebody easy for this round, because this song is going to be a tough round.
Yeah, some of those songs are exactly like when you have girls walk into your gym and just sit in the audience and watch. There's nothing, anything different. All of a sudden, guys are like, I think I'm gonna knock my buddy out. Maybe they'll notice, and they just same songs. If they're like, that's my jam, and they get into a flow a little bit harder and they throw, you're like, dude, sorry, I really like that Eminem track. And we'll get into it where it's the same thing. So my coach was always like, no, reggae, jiu-jitsu, rap, and even stuff I wasn't into. It would get me to where I wasn't pushing. I was just looking for openings. And then kickboxing came around, and it was the Scarface ending. We were just running there, slinging her. But it was getting that standing, push, go forward, aggression, and then grappling. Different gear. Okay, relax, breathe, and roll.
Something I want to say is that you brought up is when the girls walk in, it's not the time to be the loudest one in the room, be the baddest motherfucker in the room, beat everybody up, look at me. Now's the time to be humble. Just a heads up.
No pressure. Yeah, and if you feel bad, it happens in all gyms too. But as soon as you're very aware of it, and you feel kind of totally about it afterwards. But like it just happens. It's same thing if somebody brings a camera into the room, you're gonna be like, glad I wore my crop top today.
It's kind of funny you make that comparison, because I'm, as a coach, I'm thinking about like those situations. And tomorrow, my buddy Chris is coming in with the cameras to record my class, and I'm like the fat orangutan where he's like this.
Yeah,
that's how I always feel.
Shit. Well, and that's I always tell people too, like, at least for that, as soon as it becomes a regular, so the same girls, they show up if they're with somebody else, and they're like,
it's just normal now.
Yeah, and then same thing with camera, because at first, if it's only there once or twice, they're like, this must be a big deal, and they're subconsciously like, this might be the only time I could shine, and you're like, dude, and as opposed to
or
like
they shy away.
Yeah, like I'm sure 10th Planet and a few other places, like people have bipods and cameras going, so they can self-promote. Or not even self-promote too, but also like just the training itself, just to watch, be like, okay, third person mode, I am screwing to be their own coach.
Yes,
and
that's huge.
So, and it does help, because it gets them used to going, hey, nobody's watching you, but this camera's watching you, and it gets them used to not having to be like, that old news, disassociate, grapple, or do whatever. Same with the street beef. There's not a whole big crowd there, but knowing there's 2 or 3 cameras and a GoPro, you notice it. You're like,
and they really promote it. So like, even though there's no crowd, people are gonna see it. People are gonna see it online.
No, exactly.
So they know the implications. Like, just because somebody sees something in a crowd, that's one time, and you got your mental recollection of it. You can sit there and watch that same fucking IG video 1,000 times and watch somebody get fucked up. But it's funny, because Chris, when he comes in to do, shout out to Chris Ballar, that's my dog, video guy. When he comes in, he's like, I'm not here. He's like, just don't look at the camera, don't think about it. And it does take a while, because he was having me try to do like, teach like the hooky monster reels, and I'm like, you gotta say something for a hook. I'm like, I don't want to be this guy. Like, I hate that. So cringy. Like, I don't even like that. He makes a good point. He's like, this is what's gonna get you out of this small time shit and into a bigger stage where you're able to get those sponsorships. You're able to fucking maybe maybe be able to dedicate more time back into the gym because they were paying us another portion of those bills. And I'm like,
my tattoo artist calls it, he's like, quick wit instead of dumb shit. And they're like, even if
like
you're slow, they're like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
give these guys. It's
like
Rampage Jackson. He's even said he got more on his live feeds than he did in fighting.
Yeah.
Because he's just so happens to be really funny and entertaining. It's not that he's right or wrong. It's just, I'm going to watch that. It's going to make me giggle. And you're like,
he cracks me up when he does little videos with the girls. He's like, I got to turn this off.
Yeah, he's like, shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it is because it's they understood the entertainment aspect.
Yeah.
And what puts us our horse blinders is being so into, and it's not wrong, it's just only focusing on the competition side or the athlete side. And that's going to, no matter what, you're going to get better over time.
Yeah.
The hard part is, like we were saying, we're choosing to be like, all right, I got to be a tool in front of the camera, or I got to be like, and it even helps when I got knocked out because I'm like, at least I'm not promoting timeshare like a glove I had to use or something. I'm like, I got that. And I just like, it makes it to where it's like, that's not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
Or that first time.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like when you, to your point, like when you get knocked out and stuff, like think about like every contingency on what you've built up to that point riding on you winning. Like, and then you don't. Like, who are you then? Does your life fall apart?
And that's what people do because the gamble, and it's like horrible gamble. If let's say you got 300 seats sold to that fight and you got ferociously knocked out. You had the best fight camp. You just zigged when you shouldn't zag.
Yeah.
People cancel that entire. They're like, none of anything else I did before that fight counts. Which is like, dude, Jake Paul. The only reason it's not the fights, it's that he can get 400 people in the seats. It's just switching your angle and learning how to sell it. So then, even when you lose, you're like. When I got knocked out and I fell through the ropes, that was the first thing I was like, can I have the video of that? Can I share that, please? That is so, and I'm like, I did all the memes. I'm like, fucking Mrs. Doubtfire hot dog. Because that's, especially friends and family, they're the ones invested in you that don't want to see you get hurt or lose.
Yeah.
And they're looking at your reaction after the fight, not the loss itself. They want to see you get up dumb with one tooth missing going, that look cool though, right?
Like, I'm okay. Like, and then they're gonna be like, oh, he's okay. Like, you know, like, and it's gonna create them, like to the family point, it's gonna create a better perspective for them. Like, my kid's gonna be fine. Or, like, my friend's gonna be fine.
And it helps validate because, especially when we lose, we're only looking at, we canceled out all this stuff, or we're looking at what we could have improved, as opposed to, okay, what did I do even without, what are my takeaways from here that actually were on my side? It was like, okay, I got this many tickets sold. Even if you lose a bunch of, if you can sell tickets, it's anything, and they're gonna give you a fight every time. You lose 6 in a row, you can sell the tickets. That's awesome. Which means, again, promoting yourself. Sponsors like that as well, but it turns it into not being so hard on yourself if and when it eventually happens and you get knocked out, or just even a loss where because you're so hard on yourself, going, man, I could have done this and this. I'm like, he's doing that to himself. I don't have to. Unless he comes up and being like, dude, I was winning. How did that happen? And be like, I'll show you Monday. Let's go hang out and get a beer first.
Right.
And like, that's, especially after losses. We go up and high five our dude. We're like, hey, dude, fighters are the guys that lose and fight afterwards. Welcome to the gang. Let's go get a beer. Like, go get a McDonald's and then go back to the grind, as opposed to like punishing yourself on your off time when you're supposed to recoup and get ready for the next one. So it's a way of doing it, but the more positive you are, even when the bad happens, you're going to be able to build off that and learn way quicker. Because there's no more lining. There's no more stomach ulcer of just sadness and you're like, why I didn't. It's just logistics and like science, and you're like, oh, that's going to happen after my first knockout. It was my 19th or 20th fight before that finally got comatose, and everything before that is just like, so it's like, that was where I'm supposed to be at my peak at knowing how to defend. It just is going to happen to where your brain goes, and then it should switch like this. The crew from Jackass, I didn't die in that stunt. We got it on film. Content! Celebrate. And we and it has to switch the seller as opposed to the competitor. Competitor will always say we suck even when we won because they're going to tell us to do better. The seller is going to be able to be like, well, here's what we're going to do the next one. Yeah, we sold this. We're going to do this. You got a spinning heel kick. Hardly landed, but it looks good in the picture. Like, it's to build up the name and the lure of the fighter at that point.
I think it really plays to the capitalist side of everything that we do, because everything takes capital, everything takes money. And if this wasn't a sport, like even in Thailand doing Muay Thai, like they bet, it's a betting culture. That's how they make their money. And, to sell tickets, that's what, to your point, like you're gonna get a fight, because guess what? You did a great job for the promotion. The promotion made money. They want to continue to make money. So if it was like this promotion doesn't make any money, it's only about winner or loser at that point. So like there's a Simpsons quote where he's making fun of Vince Lombardi, and he goes, if you lose, you're out of the family, right? That's pretty fucking harsh. So if it's like you lose, you're off the team, you get out. Now in Thailand, it's very important, because that's how they pay their bills. Like you win, you know, like a parent sends their kid off to a Thai camp, they fight this other little kid from the village over, and they're betting on it. Their kid loses, now they lost all their money. They were gonna eat off that money this coming week, right? And so like I get to Master Sauhin, my first official loss, my opponent, it was his 10th fight, it was my first fight, evenly matched. I mean, to the third round where I took about 15 leg kicks, and my leg looked like Uriah Faber versus.
That didn't hurt. Come here.
They were like, in the event of a fourth round, because it was close. They're like, we are in the event of a draw, we're gonna go to a fourth round. I'm like, I can't walk right now. Like, I'm gonna have to, like, I can't go. Like, I mean,
I'd much rather get punched in the face too. You don't need your nose to walk. That thing is horrible, man.
Well, it's funny because like in hindsight, I'm like, I probably would have just gave up right there. Nope. Back then, like, I'm gonna fight through it. He's gonna kick me a bunch more times, to the point where I'm going to go down from that or something. On the way back, I love Master Simon. This is not a shot at him. He wouldn't talk to me. Wouldn't look at me. He's like over on the other side of the car on his phone. And I'm like, I'm in the back like, I mean, my leg is fucked and I'm getting out. And they're like, I got the security dude, like, that was a fucking badass fight. And I was like, yeah, that was my first one. They're like, what? Like, that was really, you know, and then everybody's real cool, real supportive. I was at Axe Fighting or Charlie's. It was one of not Charlie's things, like Charlie
Charlie's Combat. So it was. I think they run Axe for a little bit. Axe Fighting.
And because right at that point, like I talk about Jeff Hoiby, he was like, that was one of our guys, Miles Coble. So I was like, oh yeah, fucking that fight sucked. It didn't suck, but it was like my level of inexperience versus his higher level of experience really got that. But if you're like, oh, they don't love me because I lost, like having to sit there and be like, okay, they don't like me when I lost. Well, I'm not gonna quit. Like, I'm sorry, Master Sahin, I lost, but I gave it everything I had. And then another one of my fights where I lost too, he was like, oh, you got so much heart. Like, you know, he's like, oh, Zach lose, but him have big heart. And that got me so much more praise. The fact that I lost, but I wasn't gonna quit, wasn't gonna give up, push forward.
That's the main thing too, and it is the like I said, it's not winning, it's fighting. Because even though our brain, we're like, oh, we're lost and everything, everybody else just saw the 40 leg kicks in or anything else, and you're like, come on. And they're like, and then that's where it's building the. It's not that that we win every single fight. It's that we were put in hardship time, and then we're able to bounce back from it, or something where they're like, I'm durable, to where, and it's the getting it to that point to where it's, oh man, I had a brain fart like halfway through, like too many head punches. But it is the basis of it, because then it's not wrong again, because it's the art. For them, especially for coaches to be like, I'm very upset, there should have been one. But I've told my guys that too. There's going to be fights that you win, and I'm going to tell you straight to your face, that was horrible. That was not a fight, that was you. And then there's going to be fights that you lose, that's what you did. You fought, and that was all I could have asked for. We've gotten like 5 people in the crowd that are like followers now. They're watching, they're being like, and that's what it is. It's building. Like some people have church, other people have AA and therapy. I have combat sports. That community of like-minded individuals, they start, it's all for progression, for positive as opposed to negative. So then it starts, you know, even when the negative happens, it just goes right through from that point.
Yeah. I like what you said earlier too, is like the group, the people that are there for the months and years outside of the fight. Like, yes, it's an individual sport with the win and losses of the individual, but nobody got there by themselves. You know, and I always say it takes a village. Like you can't, even just having one coach is a lot of time is not enough. We got 4.
Yeah, and I've told a lot of my guys too, what losing's always going to suck. Everybody, it's the first one especially. You're like, oh, my mother was there. Damn. Like, no matter what it is, like what made the sting less bad is when we came back and they'd be with the team, and then my buddy or one of the teammates come up and be like, dude, I got knocked out that way my third fight. Pretty cool, right? Because they saw it, they're giggling about it. They're realizing, oh, it wasn't the end of the world. Could have been something bad, but almost dying isn't dying, like in those car crashes. So unfortunately,
almost.
the algorithm, we always see the 1% on YouTube. We always see the violent knockout into seizures, the guy that poops himself,
the guy that dislocates his knee by getting picked up and slammed.
That guy's a Terminator, though.
Brian Jones Jr. I will post a video later of in his fucking 3/4 brace pushing and pulling a sled. That guy would not let him.
I heard through one of my teammates, he still runs stadium stairs and like the AM at 6.
Yeah, he does. I've stopped going because he got me there. And that's what, like, to the point where, because we do the singles over each one, and then we were doing, we call it trips. So you know the trips?
Yeah.
All right. So so for those who don't know the trips, you pick a single stair at stadiums, and they're like 60 roughly steps up and down. You do the single steps, and you do this one. This is after you've run the entire bowl. You run one stair up. Down is so you got 3 minutes, one full round. So you go up and down, and then the last up and down is the double step, up and down. Or I mean, I would only go down the singles because it's really easy to fall on the doubles.
Your quads have 6-packs on them, even you're like, crap.
I got big legs, and so if you make your time, you get to rest the entire point, but you get 1 minute rest. And if you don't make your time, say it takes 3 minutes and 30 seconds, now you only have 30 seconds to rest before you start. Say you go into the 4th minute, now you're just going in continuously. And I got to the point where he shifted me specifically, over from doing the trips to doing the snake, the entrance at the gate, all the way down.
That they do every year, the once a year relay.
Yeah, so he's got me doing 5 of those.
Dude,
I think I did 4, and I was like, I got one more.
Yeah, and you can tell every one of those guys, even if they've never done it, it's that first week is just the living hell of it. And then your body, just at least adapting to knowing what's next, you're able to go, okay, don't look at the top of the stairs, just look at the next one. Because that's what we did with our guys. We're like, there's no time limit. You just got to run every single stair on the thing, and then when we're done, we run half of that bowl, and then we do sprints. We'll sprint the 5-yard, walk back, sprint the 10-yard, walk back.
Okay,
and
Taki put us on some shit like that.
Yeah, and it was more because we have a couple guys that have asthma too, so we're like, all right, instead of pushing, so now now our asthma guy is actually one of the ones that can get close to middle or the beginning to. So when guys are like, I can't do this, I'm like. That guy doesn't even have a lung, it seems like. And then it's like, oh, it's not naturally being good. It's just persistence. Like, as long as I keep doing it, the initial muscle base is like, and that's literally been my secret weapon is just stadium more than anything. Because the 100%. First thing you get tired is your legs, and you're like, now I'm just a punching bag moving. You're like,
that's the secret formula. Is like the secret formula is in the hard work. Cause stadium on Saturday, my week starts Monday. And it's Monday, so we used to do I always talk about
triple legs.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh, bro, to the point where I'm like, I don't think I can leave.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get out of here. Or like,
you drop something, you're like, do I need that? No, I'll get it next week. I'll make another baby. I don't care.
Yeah. Or you're wrecked until you got to do stairs again, and that first fucking couple.
Yeah, that was the first day doesn't hurt. The second, because it's all trembling.
Oh yeah, that DOMS effect.
And then the second day, you're like, I think I squeaked through. I'm not gonna feel it. And you're like, I can't even sit on
the delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS effect. Yeah, but so we used to do like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday at LA Fitness. Me, Crew Jones, and Taki. And we do like a Rich Franklin style adapted workout where it's 1 minute high intensity, and we do it for about 40 minutes. Every 5 minutes, you get a 1 minute rest. And then we just kind of got away from the 1 minute rest. Yeah. But I mean, when you start to level up and you're like, yeah, it's good for you, but I need to push. I need to prove to myself, and develop that mental strength.
Yeah.
And then so we would do that, and then I go to class every day for the week, and then get up Saturday, and that's the hardest fucking workout. So he's like, you train hard all week, and then you go do the hardest one at the end of your week's training, and then we would leave there and go spar hard as fucking Eddie Blackburn's garage.
Yeah, and then and even then too, because people. Now, and I understand the getting up super early too for like if you got jobs and daytime.
Yeah.
My coach, thank God, one of my coaches explained it to me, and I never looked back. He's like, usually fight at nighttime, right? And I'm like, thank you. Yes, I'm going to train crack of noon. All right. So the earliest I get up is the 9:30 when all of our team goes to the stadium and runs. And that even for me, like, I feel like it's a 6 a.m. Yeah, I don't have the old man get up super early yet, but like that to everybody else, we have one, I call him our lumberjack. His name's Tyler Payne. He used to be one of our, he was our 185, I believe, fighter for a while. He is just a cardio freak now. He does every one of those stairs in 11 minutes and 40 seconds.
What?
He will finish, and then he will get behind the slowest guy of us, and then he'll just run. And then that's their motivation, because he doesn't have to say his thing, and you could see him zigzagging, getting closer to you, and you're
dominating,
like, and you don't, and you're like, dude, I am a piece of garbage. And he doesn't tell him that he does it all year round, and he trains, and so then we're like, all right, Tyler, he gives us a head start. We'll run the whole bowl, get 3 zigzags in, and then we'll just see him on the track, and then we'll just see him slowly, like, just pass every one of us. And even in my peak shape, it takes me like 15, 16 minutes. So and it ruins my pace trying to beat him, and I'm just like exhausted. And he's like, it's like a dopey Doberman. He's like, all right, what's next? And I'm like, shut up, dude. I'm going to try not dying.
I miss feeling that way.
Yeah.
Like, because you, how capable you feel when you're at that level.
That's the biggest, like the switch of the nerves, because it doesn't matter what that guy is, whoever they put me against. It's what I know I can do and what I'm capable of. And then it makes like I said, the switching kamikaze first to the sport, because you're not worried about him hurting me. I'm like, I'll give you a freebie leg kick. Let's see what happens. Like, it's, that feeling is way better than being, I would have that feeling and rather lose a couple fights than to be extremely anxiety ridden for fights that even during the fight, I'd be like getting ready to throw up. I'm so nervous. And then I win. And it just didn't, the whole thing was the experience for me. I loved it. So just to be in there, and it's just talking shop in the word, it's like a green room. Yeah. All the other fighters, you're like, hey, Jeff, I haven't seen you in whatever. I fist bump. And you go to and you're like, oh, I'm up next. And you go out. Like, it's your routine and ritual that makes it feel like I'm supposed to be here. Yep. That guy might take my head off, but I got my buddies, all right. And like, it's just, make it the normalcy. And then it's your Stockholm syndrome going, I like this. I love it when he hits me in the mouth. Like, that's what I want.
And to your point, that level of preparation is going to give you that level of confidence. If you know you're underprepared, you're not going to feel confident. Then you're going to get nervous in the back. And that's what I see mostly with underprepared athletes, or specifically fighters, is that those nerves are like, oh shit, it's about to happen now. And even if they're very well prepared, but they're not mentally structured, that can have its time too. And man, you have a really good mindset when it comes to this.
Just like relating it to the steps, any one of those dudes that were looking at the top of the stairs and running, not one of them got up there. They were exhausted. Like, a lot of them were just focused on whatever's in front of you. Yeah. And because then you're pacing. Anytime, a lot of this was like my fights too. Any fight I ever thought I was going to win, I was throwing way harder, or like, that was the one that was supposed to knock him out. And
get greedy.
Yeah, and my brain goes, and I tell all of my guys this, I'm like, all right, this is going to happen. If you kick that guy flush in the mouth or hit him right in the mouth, he should be dead, and he's just staring at you. What do we do next? And luckily, Grady's like, go get a gun. I'm like, no, I like it, no. But the goal is, don't get tired of winning. So don't over haymaker, just pull back a little bit and just keep hitting him. Like, that was control, the thing is, our double down, you're like, I was supposed to, I'm really tired. It takes no energy getting the crap beaten from you. It takes a lot of energy to whip somebody's ass. Like, and especially if you didn't finish him, he's not too happy about it, and he's going to come retort with something else after. So it's like like you said, it's what my coach always said, it's like the Fast and the Furious movies. Everybody gets one turbo button, are in for the kill. Some of those really fancy rich cars might have 2. But if you push that at the wrong time, everybody's gonna lap you, and you're gonna be, even if you're like a specimen. It's just I used all my flamethrower gas too early. Whoops.
Yep. Yeah, you just made a mistake, and that was your fault. And that's why I tell our guys all the time, like, a lot of them is that move past or punch past or kind of swing.
Yeah.
And they're like, imagine if you miss, and then this is the position that you're in.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, oh shit.
I have to tell them those lizard or frog tongues when they're catching a fly, and you get, because it's
like snap. Because
every time they do it, and it doesn't help that all of my fights start that way, where I'm like But I have to tell them, I'm like, I know what I'm about to do. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're like, if you like your health and well-being, don't do what I'm going to do right now. Like, it's the make sure it's an intelligent fighter as opposed to the entertainment fighter. And if they know the difference and they tell you that, you're like, you got head kicked. You're like, no, I know. I knew I had my hands down. I should have moved it, but it was what I was going for.
You had
and
a calculated risk.
Yeah, I zigged and I should have zagged. If they already understood that, it was no harm, no foul. They already got the harm when they got knocked out. We're paid stuntmen. If you don't go to the hospital, if you don't die, we go to the next fight and figure out from there. You just brush it off. I got a paycheck, right? Thank you. Who's the next one?
Yep. Man, that's a lot of what you said is like those are tough lessons to learn, especially like when having a coach that's a high level pro, because you're taking very calculated risk. You know what you're doing. You've experienced that beginner level. For the ones that want to be the highlight reel guy, and then they come out and they don't have anything, they open up like this. And before that hand comes, they're catching a heavy cross, or like a head kick. It's like,
and
you made a big mistake.
Yeah, it's a two different formulas, and people cherry pick from both, and opposed to just going to one. Because if you're just the entertainer fighter and you get knocked out, our mindset should be like, all right, I'm not dead. It's good. I got some content, like the Street Beef guys, and they get it to where they know they're going to be able to fight again. But the competitor of us, or even when I was wrestling, it was the thing we lose and then we just rewatch our video like this. I hate this. This sucks so hard. But then it just ingrains it like, I don't want to do this no more kind of thing. But it gets it to where their brain is processed. If you're going to do something, like you were saying, fundamentals, if you are a master at fundamentals, we can be a little silly. You can do whatever. 3 spinning back fists, because anytime that guy hits you in the eye, your brain goes right back to security blanket. And then so it gets you to go, if you know your fundamentals, play around with something that's going to make it your style. But that's your worst case scenario, because if it doesn't work, you are back to what you know that's going to work. And then it helps you so that's what it is for I'm going to do the crazy spinning heel kick. It's going, this might make me lose. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's that. So it's just having to tell yourself, and like I was saying, it was like the stairs too. Like anytime you just focus at that point of, man, I keep getting stuck on that same, because I forget a word and it like pushes through it. But it's the mindset of it's don't judge on the isolated incident, judge on my legacy. So that each isolated incident, if I'm just worried about that one fight, no matter what happens, it's just my health and safety. I'm not thinking about the gambling, which is if I win this one, I could possibly do this one and then get me another fight. It was like, dude, just do your progress report.
Too much on everything versus, like you said, in the stairs, keeping the one
don't look
foot
at the top.
in front of you.
Yeah, just look and don't fall on the ice and look like an idiot.
It's like the person that thinks they're at the bottom of the mountain. They look up at the top of the mountain like, I got to climb that. Like, no, you need to start walking, start going.
Especially if you're like, I'm going to make this like a fight life career. It's a long ass top you got to look at the whole way up. It's like,
it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, just get your checkpoints. You're like, I'm going to be, when I started, I was about 15, 16 years old when I started running the gym. And my coach gave me like a deadline. He's like, okay, but where your age is at, we want to get you pro by 23. So then it wasn't anything of like so many wins, so many losses. It's like 18 was my first fight to 23 was just learn everything. Just absorb whatever, if you lose. And that was my mental mindset, was when I lost, the competitor would come out and like, nobody's going to watch this. And I needed my entertainer aspect to be like, dude, I threw 4 spinning heels and nobody threw a single kick the entire fight card. It was just trying to be,
excitement.
Yeah, you don't have to be cocky. You just have to be confident. Confident doesn't know it's going to land. It just has a backup plan in case it doesn't. So then it persists and pursues through that. But it is because it's just like going to a tattoo shop. It's might be my type of style. They're not wrong. I'm just going to go to one that's my style based.
Yeah.
So then it is getting that, I'm going to be the entertaining guy this fight. All right, here's my risk versus rewards. This is totally fine because it's all individual scenario. It can't be I'm going to do this each time. It's
right.
Like,
So you're going to get picked up.
Yeah, especially if you know your guys are not as stand-up based, where you're like, I'm going to throw a highlight reel jumping roundhouse because all he's going to do is take me down instead of haymaker me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, try that. It's like the push-pull.
Yeah, it's the gamble. Yeah, all that stuff, man. Well, there's a lot to that. So there's those gambles, when you make them at a high level, it's educated gambling. It's knowing, like if you're at a poker table, it's knowing all the assets. It's being able to count the cards as well.
Yeah.
Not going to, like I always say, don't train over your head. Don't fight over your head. Don't go and do more than you're capable of or more than you're trained, because it's going to throw you out of position or stuff like that.
Exactly.
But when you know the gamble, you know the risk, you know how to make those risks.
And I tell everybody too, don't fight like me. Fight like yourself. Don't be a berserker. Be someone else. Be original. But the aspect of, like, I know it's gonna hurt, or I'm gonna be a martyr for the sport, or anything like that matter. It, like, my brain really goes to. It really is. It's how much I care about my health and well-being. Mm-hmm. And it sounds really dark, but that's like the nihilist part of it, where it's like, I don't have to worry about my health and well-being. There's a guy in a striped shirt that should stop him.
Right.
So where I start going into content instead of intelligent fighter, especially in bare knuckle, you are supposed to block and head move. I will put my forehead down and just bless his fist with my forehead a few times. Yeah, and it's, again, it is not intelligent. But are you going to watch it every time? Oh yeah. And if you know, like I said, if I'm not worried so much about the win, I just need to get people in the chairs. Mm-hmm. They recognize that after you lose too. I get up, I'm like, whoa! And they're like, dude, why is he like breakdancing and he lost?
Dude, get this guy back here.
Yeah.
Because like if he's like this on a loss, imagine him on a win.
Yeah, it's bringing the atmosphere to the fans, and we all started fighting because we're fans, and we don't know how to disassociate our fan brain to our fight brain. So when we build up, like, the lure of a fan, this guy's undefeated, he's going to be a killer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like, that's the fan of us going to, in reality, you're like, I train 6 days a week. I have guys 3 times my size beat me into a submission. Yeah. But it's just, finding that nice disassociation. Yeah. Like, no, this is me loving it as a fan. I got to, cool to be the player, sucks to be the fan. I just want to pull it apart,
Yeah. Well, that's dope, man. Well, we should probably wrap this up. I know we've been chatting it up, and this has been a good ass time.
Yeah,
but I know time is ticking. Yeah. But man, I really appreciate you coming on. You really put a lot of the Pacific Northwest onto what bare knuckle fighting looks like, and that you're kind of like adding the realism to it. Like it's still just fighting. Yeah. Like some people are gonna be like, you're like, oh, I'm cut up. Some people are like, I don't want to be cut. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say this because I don't want to say this because I'm sure somebody is going to take it as a challenge, but I don't get cut very easy. Yeah. Bruise very easy. And I'm sure fucking Juan is going to be like, oh yeah, you don't fucking cut you. Or somebody.
Paulie Malignaggi, my debut, he was my announcer. And I know he was being like nice, and it was before I knew they were going to be like announcing, and they were trying, I think it was politely them calling me a cracker almost, because they're like, he's got that skin texture that cuts really easy. And I was rewatching and I'm like,
got that translucent
skin.
Yeah,
dude, he was like, he called me a cracker. That was good. He did it very professionally. I like that. But like, it was because we don't know until the bare knuckle happens. So we just, our body goes to, nope, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Till dumb guinea pig tries it, and then you guys can see it and be like, all right, he just got a beauty marker too. He's fine. Yeah. And then just
you can't even tell looking at you now. Like I'm sure, but in the fights, it's like you could see, like, because the blood, the gashes and stuff.
I mean, my lip. I don't know if you saw the Robbie Lawler. I got my lip filleted open, and my mouth was used like a cutting board. That was 4.5 weeks. That was the worst damage I ever took out of anything, and they just stitched it up, and then. I'm an idiot. I don't even go to the doctors. I cut out all my own stitches. It saves me time. So that was the only weird one to move it.
It's like, ow.
Yeah. That's it. I don't have a limp. I don't have a slur or speech impediment. And
well articulated. You can speak this entire time.
So I don't know, in bare knuckle kickboxing, I might get scalped with a shin bone. But aside from that, it won't be the bare knuckle that's causing the damage. It's just a new entertaining aspect. And I feel not only the fans, but like the local fighters that I know are going to be bare knuckle beasts. They see it and they're like, okay, I can do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. So.
Well, I really appreciate you kind of being a pioneer for that too, like insisting on, or like not necessarily insisting, but letting it go out of just the bare knuckle boxing aspect and into, like you said, you did bare knuckle MMA and now bare knuckle kickboxing.
Yeah.
It's going to open those doors for everybody. And because everybody wants to see those knockouts, everybody wants to see it, and that's playing to the capitalist, that's playing to the crowd, it's playing to the fight show, and you still get to go in and do your best at what you fucking do, love it every second, and it takes a very special, very unique person to maybe not care about a win, but to accept it before the fight has occurred and be in the fact that, like, I'm fine with if I don't win because it's going to be a fucking dope show. And that is indicative, in my opinion, of a higher level pro because it takes, because you have to go through those first fights where you're worried, you're nervous. Like, I always say, like, if you're not even a little bit nervous, you're either too good or you're a little delusional. You know, and I don't think anyone is wrong.
No,
but like you know, there's something to always be said for a level of nerves or a level of calmness. Those people are super stoic and super like just chill, like in the back meditating and stuff the whole time. I'm like, I'm always curious to see how their performance is. Are they going to be flat, or are they going to be just a Zen master like Lyoto Machida and fucking knock out a tooth type shit? But like, you never know. But I appreciate everything you bring to the game, man, because
thank you, man. It's been a real pleasure too. I appreciate it.
It's going to change. The game's going to change, and be a big pioneer for that if you choose.
And that's all it is numbers and surveys. And as soon as they realize it's not hospital visits, it's just like regular shows. That's all it's going to do. Just a couple of years of that, and they look at numbers like, oh, there's still more deaths in regular boxing or gloved things. That's all it's going to show. It's just ugly to look at because it's really bloody, but that's all it is. You see the numbers, it proves it, and the guys that are fighting aren't forced. They're like, they're traveling all over to try this because it's not legal anywhere else. So it really means a lot at that point.
Cool. Yeah, man. Well, thank you for coming on. Telling your story. Love to do this again after your fight.
Dude,
you know what
hell
I mean?
Yeah. If I get beat up, I'll bring the fight footage. I'll show you guys. It'd be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, give your sponsors and everybody, the gym and everybody, a shout out real quick before we shut it.
Dude, and fighters already know this. I get hit in the head a lot, and I don't. What's worse than me is forgetting a sponsor name, so I wrote them all down.
That's actually a smart move.
Joke's on you. I can't read. All right. But all of them, Lakewood Auto Body, Andy and all your family, you guys did a bunch for me. I appreciate everything. Gas Digital Network, gasdigital.com. Especially, more than anything else, laughter is the best medicine, especially after concussion. They're really good on that. Nice. Old Bones Therapy, their knee braces and elbow braces, they've been with me for a few years now for Bare Knuckle. The John Candy Band, my anthems to victory. I would check them out more than anything else.
I will follow them as well.
Yeah. Oh, I dare you not to quote any of them after that. It's so much fun. Winds of Plague, same thing. You guys are always the best in war music. Vulcan Knives, because there's always got to be a nice bladed attachment, and knife sharpening. Mickey, your company as well. Thank you. Of course, Grover Collins Tattoos. Every single tattoo has been done by him. So if you're interested, he's a local guy. Go check him out. Ryan Trainer, he's done all of my shirts, all my banner designs, and my artwork as well. BNC Building Solution, you guys have been a very large blessing. Thank you guys a bunch. Their son's actually going to fight on Saturday at the Redemption fight.
Really?
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun one.
Holler at your boy. I'll be there with my team, my fighter Nate.
Yeah, I'll have my foam finger. I'm like, hey, tag me.
Oh, you're going to be there?
Yeah,
let's link up. We'll fucking get some shots.
Yeah. And then DNA Lasering, thank you guys a ton. And then you guys all know this guy. He's been like a day one through all the community. Is elite massage professional. Todd Valentine, all the times I felt like garbage after Bare Knuckle. He's put me back together. And even at the jiu-jitsu tournaments or any of the local community-based stuff, he's always there helping the fighters and fight lifers. So
I love that, man.
Thank you guys a bunch, more than anything.
Yeah, man, and just kind of to solidify what you're saying about sponsors is like, we operate in the negative a lot. So, and obviously I'm guilty of that. So sponsorships and people willing to kind of bet on you, that goes so far. And even though, like, I know some sponsorships are like, oh, it's fine, it's a write-off. They get a lot of little perks and stuff. They get extra, they get credibility, they get visibility, this sort of stuff. But, like, not everybody's going to say yes. So
no, exactly.
Thank you for him to your sponsors for doing that. And I'm in the middle of, I mean, we got Uwe right here. I'm in the middle of setting up other sponsorships too. So my day is coming, working hard at that, and whoever does sponsor me, it's going to be great, and I'm going to make it worth their while, and I'm going to appreciate it, because I always say, if you bet on me, I'm going to make sure you win.
Yeah, and as sponsors too, once you have a certain amount, it turns into a community of people that I guarantee, especially fighters, we all usually have the same type of sponsors that all work together with each other. You're like, dude, you do tattoos? I do gun engravings.
Yeah.
Like it's you make your own community that ends up benefiting everybody in the long run. So.
And I love it because we've gotten, with social media, we've gotten so far away from the only way to truly earn is blue collar, white collar fucking sort of work. I watched both of my parents work hard as fuck their entire lives, gave me a work ethic that got me through this, got me through the fight. Like, I know what it's like to you just got to show up.
Yeah.
Show up and do what you're told.
Like,
show up, do what you're told. If you don't know how to train for a fight, if you don't know what you're doing, show up. Your coaches will get you there. Yeah. Have the faith before you have the understanding and the knowledge.
Yeah. Robert Follis says that it's not I can't, it's I can't yet.
Yeah.
It's whatever you're going to do. Even like, and that is, you'll just be like, I can't yet, but I'm going to keep on. I'm going to have to push and it just changes your demeanor, because I hate it. It's so stupid because it's from my kid's Boss Baby movie, but it's the same thing. Whether you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah, that's Henry Ford. That's not from your Boss Baby. That's Henry Ford.
Yeah, but that was the Boss Baby. That's where I heard it. I'm like, why does that little baby speak truth? Wow. I'm like,
that baby must be Henry Ford. He wanted to own the fucking plantations for the rubber trees to make his tires. Like, you want to own it from. It's like Amazon. They want to own the fucking jet fuel they put in their planes. They want, and own the fucking the refineries that make these jet. They want to own everything, and that's not really realistic anymore.
No,
But what I was gonna say is, I don't care if you heard it from Henry Ford, from Boss Baby. Take it where you get it. Take you had no problem admitting, like, well, it's fucking embarrassing where I got it. Who cares where you get it from? Take that knowledge and make it your own.
Yeah,
so.
and a lot of it, it's only embarrassing to like I said, the person, because we're going off the guy that happened reaction. And if you're acting like Carrie, or they're like, they're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah,
probably are. But like, just like a bro, dude, did you see me time travel? Oh my God, are my teeth over there? Like, they understand that you're having fun as much, and because you're a fight lifer. This isn't, I'm fired if I, and fighting is already stressful enough. That's what promoters do. That's with paychecks on it. So to be able to make it why you did it for your dream or having fun is going to pay off for when it's not on our side, inevitably.
And just to kind of wrap things up, I think that it falls into the love what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Work your love instead of love your work. Same, but a little different. But yeah, man. So I really appreciate you coming on again. You got a ton of passion and a ton of experience for this stuff, and that's what gives, I think, a lot of other people the hope when sometimes they're in fight camp or maybe not, but they're kind of dwindling mentally, and be like, you can watch that and be like, you know what? I'm going to fucking grab my gear and just go, even though I don't feel like it. You know what I mean? I just listened to something. So thank you for coming on, man. It means a lot to me. Like, this is the first time we've talked in person. It was a great time,
Heck yeah, man.
And to the community, like, reach out. I've got a bunch more people I've met a couple times in person. There's a couple people that I haven't that are coming on. And you don't have to know each other to be part of the community.
No, so, and again, that's right. Some people have AA in church. Other people have therapy. I have combat sport. That community of guys.
Guilty.
Your first 3 years in any gym where that's your team, that's your gang, where you go to fights and you're like, screw you, those aren't my colors, whatever. And then you realize you're the same teams you hang out with for 10 plus years, and then you turn into stepbrothers. You're like, do you want to do karate in my garage?
Fucking right,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes there's animosity. Maybe, I try not to be, but like, I'm, like you said, I'm seeing the same fucking people I've been seeing since I used to fight. And it's like, hey, man, fucking remember 15 years ago? Or 14 years ago?
And that's why I tell our fighters, the poker playing, I'm like, if that guy's already mad and pissed and it's your first couple fights, that dude's scared and he's not sure. The guy that's more relaxed, like, he's like, I know what's going to happen, even if I lose. The other guy's just, like, trying to get, like, amped.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so.
Cool, man. Well, thank you again for coming up.
Appreciate it.
I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. The podcast will be out tomorrow morning about 9, 10 o'clock. It'll be out before you're up.
Sweet. Heck yeah.
So you can wake up and listen to your podcast if you choose.
Yeah.
Cool. And anybody that, follow follow your sponsors, all that stuff. Make sure you're following JD. If you want to follow City Muay Thai Podcast, I'm on IG. What's the TikTok? I just started that one. And
having to memorize is like, dang.
And then YouTube's the main ones. And by the end of December, I am looking to have as many podcasts as I can get up on Spotify. So
I got to start doing some Spotify stuff. That's smart.
Yeah. My guy Chris been working with me, putting me on. So we're gonna expect a lot more stuff coming up from your boy. All right. Thank you again, JD. This was a fucking blast, man.